Every time I elevate, it's something to celebrate. John Jones, I went to heavyweight on these featherweights, but I ain't backing down. I'ma take the weight up another plate. Lean at the crumbs, that's how you eat. Let me demonstrate. Decade in the game, I ain't lost a step. I just up the pace. Watch them up the pay. I put in the reps and pick up the chase. Then it up the balance, but we ain't even no miles away. It ain't just a talent. I took the challenge and walked the race. Fell a couple times, but I got back up with some saving grace. Definitely the pastor, still need a preacher. Talk to me when I'm shallow. Let a lens to see deeper. Closer in to see higher up. That's too much for the speakers, but ain't much for the thinkers. Clouded, I rush to the lower end to see what's in the deeper. Found a message to send itself for much younger and eager. Keep your youth and maintain your health, cause the future is trouble. But you made for the struggle, and you born with the hustle. Any imagery less than greatness, erase it and double down on your first mind. I come from the worst kind. Make life before I found shine. No pain, it was all grind. I'm human, they wanted them, but my room is way off the chart. I'm human, I can't admit for mine. They can't stop me, no. If I die, it's fine, cause I live to show that it can be done. I'm a champion, I'm a champion. I'm a win, I know. I'm a grind for mine. They can't stop me, no. If I die, it's fine, cause I live to show that it can be done. I'm a champion, I'm a champion. Life been so crazy, I can't do nothing but look high. This is just like I prayed, but ain't like I thought on my way. And sitting in my zone while they plotting out my grave. I'm plotting my next stop, I stay getting that pay. I kept it true, I can't say how they played. I'm just gonna stay what I knew, and thank God I got grace. Grace for my years I've been putting in that pain. To bounce back insane, to build up some time, but wiped up the stains. I'm mic'd up as live, tap in, let's get games. It ain't no more what did or should did. I got too much right now to brain. That's all I know, and all I live. For all trying to stop my show, the 2 or 10 years ain't stopping till it's round the world and back again and back again and back again and back.
Are we ready, everybody? We got a good one in store. We're about to dive deep into eFootball 27, and I can't wait. We got our tactics testing. I got my overload counter. I got my overload tactics. But it's not only that. Because we also have our in-depth breakdown of OG FC team member Nick Runs the Foot Market. You guys know how I roll with the members. Shout out AMG, one of our members is on right now. I'm going to help him out. He's got some questions. But this man right here, absolute beast of a player, borderline professional level, is going to show us how to use overload like a pro. It is an honor to have him as a member among everybody in the squad. I mean, we treat everyone equally, but obviously Nick Runs the Foot Market, someone I followed for a long time. A big inspiration on why I started content. You guys know I do reactions all the time because I don't respect many content creators. Nick's among the few that I respect and even look up to, even though I'm older. Even though I do this for a profession, he does for a profession what I want to do, which is translate everything I'm doing into football gaming. He's turned it into an uber successful career, and so to have him as a member of our team is an absolute honor. Guys, I'm telling you, if you ever need, don't want to pay ridiculous fees and get in trouble with copyrights and stuff, get this epic sound and also support some smaller musicians for a few bucks a month. It's worth it, guys. It's kind of like myself and many of you smaller creators trying to make it. We all help each other out. This epic sound is brilliant. I utilize it, and I'm telling you, man, some of these artists, hopefully they can blow up. So shout out to Epic Sound. Shout out to all these guys that I listen to. I can't name them all. But anyway, Epic Sound. I don't get sponsored by them at all, but it's pretty cool little platform. Now, We're going to dive in to my overload tactics. We're going to dive into some games versus community where you could see my overload tactics and my counter overload tactics, which are these right here. And then we may just jump into a tournament. We also have, guys, as a side note, we might do a little side watch along. We can't show it, but for all my UFC fans, I might have the fights on the side. Do a little watch along on that, kind of on the side. Ian Gary versus Makhachev. I hope Makhachev knocks the shit out of him. Ian Gary's the most annoying fighter on the planet, but he is very good, and I honestly think he's probably going to win. If you guys know UFC, know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we have an exciting stream. I was very busy all day, but I could not wait to come and get going on this. So how I like to do it, typically speaking, first, we have a member on stream, so I'm going to answer AMG's questions. And then second, we're going to break down Nick's gameplay and overload. And I actually have the coaching pin. I have everything ready to go because it's a great way to learn. And if you haven't noticed, I've been breaking down all of the gameplay myself. I just realized when I was telling you guys about Epic Sound, I wasn't showing you, but this is what Epic Sound is. It's awesome. Pay a few bucks a month. It supports all these musicians where you don't got to pay these crazy licensing fees and all this to use their music, and a lot of them are very, very good. And so it's pretty cool because it supports them and helps them get the stuff out there. No different than I support all the smaller creators in our community and just in general, because everyone's got to start somewhere. But getting into the content, right? And no, that's not a sponsorship with Epic Sound, by the way. Getting into the content, I've been going through. Obviously, we had the new Chelsea pack. I broke that down. Those players, some of the first ones with the double play styles. I have Conti here as my manager with the double link-up play, which isn't so special for the double link-up play. I'll explain that. But for the most part, what my time's been spent on is breaking down every play style. That's the first thing we had to figure out. In the process, I went through the defensive play styles and the 7 new Showtime skills that are confirmed to come. And those are scary, guys. I like where we're going with the defensive playstyles, even though I'm not stupid. I know this is ultimately a way to reset the game to make us buy all new players, right? But it is a very cool thing, without a doubt. Like a Wayne Rooney, as an attacker, defends differently than a Messi as an attacker, right? And obviously players can change based on different opponents and things like that, but obviously that part of the realism isn't there. It's not like I can talk to, my, whoever started, my Luis Suarez, and tell him, all right, hey, on this game I'm going to need you to really drop back and take away the left back. They like to play out of the left, take out their them playing from the back to their left back. Just go stand, man mark them. You can't do little things like that, which is a great way to stop a team from building out of the back, by the way. I wish they had that option. Defensive man marking. We used to do it all the time for teams who like to build up with possession, because your wingbacks are two of the most important players to give you width to try to pull your opponent outside. So it would be cool to add defensive instructions. I hope eventually they do that. But they're sort of doing a version of that with these defensive play styles. By essentially telling the player, okay, on the attack you're doing this, on the defensive side you're doing this. Same with the fluid formations. On the attack you're doing this, defensive side you're doing this. But when you look at the Showtime skills, they're taking a lot of what would be simple type of actions, and they're almost turning them gimmicky. That's my problem. Not as much like, they're going to make basic things to where you have to get a Showtime skill or a defensive playstyle to do basic defensive movements. But it's the gimmicky stuff. Like, there's a Bruiser Plus. You guys got to check out this video. I go in depth. Shout out to Eris for showing me this Reddit article that found these and breaks them down. But there's like a Bruiser Plus type of defensive tackle that's supposed to potentially be like the upper body barge version, shoulder barge version of long reach. Well, the problem is, if you play at FC and you know the problems with Bruiser Plus, you already are worried about this. And if you don't know, the problem with Bruiser Plus is they can have it where you press a command and your defender closes down 5-10 yards of space and just knocks the attacker off the ball. Well, that's a huge BS move, because it gives defenders a way to get smoked but then easily recover or win the ball when they shouldn't. So we got to be careful. Well, hopefully Konami's thought of that. And then other than that, we've been going through. So I strongly suggest, even if you're not going to use long ball counter now, or long ball, which is a very viable setup this year, by the way, especially as a counter to systems like Overload. Extremely viable because of how your players can play off of that initial longer ball to the attacker, where you can beat the press, play it up to an attacker, then your team converges and you can start playing up, back, and throughs, give and goes to continue your attack. It's actually pretty brilliant. Quick counter is more powerful than ever. This is just pure sub tactics. I meant to include my gameplay highlights, but this is just pure tactics here. But I also go over why quick counter is so powerful. Right? Same with long ball counter. It's still good, but it's absolutely not as powerful as before. I go through that. And then what's to come, tomorrow we have possession. And then we have this overload. Where is the possession, now that I think of it? So that's members only. Where is my possession? That's a little scary. Let me make sure it's up here. It should be up here. Let me just make sure it's coming tomorrow for you guys. Because I have the possession breakdown too. Yes. I don't know why only long ball counter shows, but possession play style using Didier Deschamps. And it really compares it to overload, because there's a lot of players that are forcing themselves to use overload that really should use possession. And you'll understand it. I give you the full breakdown. You'll see what I mean, the comparisons, attacking, defense, and why possession's still better for some players. Considering the fact that overload, your whole team shifts, and then when you get near the box, the AI breaks for a counterattack. And in possession, you have full control of when you trigger your players. There is no, that dynamic side isn't there, but if you want to control your team to the very end, possession is going to be what you want to go to. So it breaks that down in depth. And then last but not least, we're going to pretty much go over overload and out wide tonight. And then once you get all the different manager play styles down, you start learning all the defensive play styles, whether you get them on players or play against them. And then you learn the showtime skills that are coming, so you're ready to know what these players have as they come out. It's all important. And you start to know what your opponents are going to have when you play against them. And you're pretty much set for eFootball 27 to then just get out on the pitch and sharpen your skill. So that's how I learn, that's how I progress, and that's how you can reach your full potential too. There's a lot of info out there. Game is very deep technically and tactically. But these things can give you an edge. So then when you go out on the pitch, you add your skill set to it as you're sharpening up, playing against good opponents, playing in our leagues, our cups, playing PvP versus AI. And then you reach your full potential. I know it's easier said than done, but that's the roadmap, guys. And we're here to help. So what's up? Hello, Burger from Germany. I love it. I love it. What's up, Blacks? Currently trying out long ball in Division 3. Not so bad, exactly. To be honest, but I don't know. Quick counter, Conti might be worth it since, yep, you can look at the setup I have and kind of review that tonight, actually. So that should help you out, so that's cool. So AMG, if you want to get on here or if you want to type in your questions, whichever way, bro. I don't know if you feel comfortable talking on here. You can go into the Hangout and Discord. We can talk on live, kind of show the world how we get down with our team members. And then speaking of team members, here's how we're going to start this stream off, guys. Right off the bat, while more and more people are coming on, right off the bat, we're going to dive into another team member's debut with Overload. And this is his debut, I believe, into eFootball 27. He was gone. And if you don't know, it's something that I didn't want to, I'm not going to just start blowing it up like, oh my God, Nick's a member, become a member, Nick's a member, become a member, because I know off the grace of how amazing our community is, plus what I can provide from the coaching, tactical side, guides, tutorials. You know, I want people to want to become members and watch the content off of the merits of that. So it's not like I don't want to sound like I'm riding Nick's coattails too much, but without a doubt, I'm proud of the fact that Nick finds value enough in the content that I share to become a paid member, because this is a guy I look up to, right? This is a guy that I react to and appreciate what he brings as a creator. So of course I'm going to be proud of the fact that he finds value in what I add too, especially because a lot of it's inspired from people like him. Inception, later on in Dominator, even though I have to be fair and honest, I wasn't the biggest. I didn't know in Dominator early on, so he didn't influence me. But now I respect him. Rock Chalk, respect the shit out of him. He's a great player. He's more like watch my gameplay and learn. Nick's more watch my gameplay and learn. Inception gets a little more in depth with explanations and stuff. And Dominator's more watch my gameplay and learn. And then I just take what I do for a living and translate it. And that's what I'm going to do here. So we're going to watch Nick. And who knows? That's the cool thing. Who knows? As a member, I'm sure he's probably watching the content and at least taking some stuff and putting it into his technical decisions, his decisions. But he's a fantastic player. He always has been. He just, in my opinion, if he did all the nerdy stuff that I do, like really studied instead of just jumping in, he would be just a whole nother level, crazy good. I mean, he went through and dominated people with no sub-tactic. You know, first wasn't really doing the player fusions, wasn't really. And then, like, he just learned as he went, and to still be borderline professional level, that's that raw talent. I always say it, I'll say it again. He's like, you guys know those players, like I remember in off-season, I had to do all my workouts. I had to eat healthy. If I didn't, I'd come in out of shape. I'd be terrible on the fitness test. I'd be rusty. But I had teammates that could do nothing but party all summer long, not touch a football, and then they'd come into preseason, finish at the top on the fitness test, just be ripped to the gills, and just sharp, like mid-season sharpness after eating pizza and drinking beer all summer. Like, some people just are raw with it. They're just raw, God-given talent. And Nick, on the sticks, that's what he's got. So it's a perfect person to watch play Overload, and that's what we're going to do right now. So let's get into it. So you see his tactics here. You've seen it. He's got Tuchel. I'm sure he's about to change. This is his possession tactic. We'll actually fast forward and see. Yep. So now he's got his Overload with Lampard. You see an idea of his team there with Overload. Once again, similar to our setup, which I can show you real quick right here. He's looking to dominate the midfield, right? Let me get this pulled up. He's looking to dominate the midfield. That's my out wide tactic. Let me pull up my Overload game plan. This is my counter to Overload, by the way. And we're going to get into that as well. But here's Overload. And even if you never use a counter to your system, it's good to know it, because then you have an idea of, you try to come up with the best way to beat what you use, and then you're prepared the best to either come up with solutions to get around it or to prepare for opponents that will try to use that against you. Yes, Nick is a member, Renegade Kami. I was sharing it in Discord the other day, and the biggest thing was, like, I don't want to be corny and be like, oh my God, look here, look here. You know, because I want people to understand that what we do as a community, we provide the content. We provide a great group that helps out in Discord 24/7. But, of course, I'm proud of it. So I wanted to share it, but just not overdo it, you know. Similar to, like, you know, a famous person eats at a restaurant. They're going to have a picture of that person. They're going to have their review because it's cool, you know. It's very cool. But on the other side, I'm not going to rename it like the Nick Runs a Foot Market OG membership group because Nick's a member now. Nick's a member now. Come join Nick, you know. So, with that being said, hopefully we can obviously learn from his breakdowns and stuff, but you never know what's potentially being added to his game from the content, from what you guys are watching and learning from too. So that's the cool part, right? So now, this is our overload setup, okay? So, once again, we're looking to dominate the midfield. We have our anchorman. We have Marcelo, who I had to put 1 million position tokens on to be able to get him to be able to be more defensive at times when I needed, right? Which actually I'm going to change this because I changed it and it worked very well and out wide. And then here's our defensive setup. So you see, I don't really care that Messi's out of position because defensively Messi doesn't add much anyways, right? If I click on Messi, you see his defensive ability. So he goes down to 75 overall. That's fine. Defensively, I just want him as a body out here. Now, Ronaldinho happened to get a CMF position, right, when I was going for a left midfield. And so it works out to where he stays fully boosted. He doesn't take a hit playing out of position. But it doesn't matter. Defensively, these two are more just bodies there to make the opponent uncomfortable, to get in the way of passing lanes, to be obstructive. And then we work out. It's pretty simple. Just like as a striker, when I would drop back, when my manager would say drop back, help out, or man mark this player just to be a nuisance, it's not like I was expected to drop down, get in defensive position, and be a good defender. I was dog shit. But I still got in the way, and I was a nuisance. It's the same concept. So you don't have to worry about keeping these guys in position defensively. But we're looking to dominate the midfield as our team is rotating from channel to channel with the ball, staying tight-knit, working the ball around offensively, and they do the same thing defensively. This is, we exploit the openings, and the best part about this is the core of our team is making runs from deep, which are very hard to mark for the defense. Not to mention, because we're controlling the ball in this area here, not right up on the defense, except for Louis, who's an advanced striker, he's going to be stretching the defense. Or you could go a Ibra route, who's going to be showing too a lot more, but he also can potentially lead defenders to be in a better area when different hole players or your AMFs are making runs. Whereas Louis is going to constantly pull defenders away from the space that these players are running through. So that's how we work into overload. Now our sub-tactic, which is obviously long ball, still works very well. And notice, there's no change, right? There's no change in formation. You can absolutely have a specific formation based on, you can absolutely have a different formation based on your playstyle, but you don't have to have that, okay? You do not have to have that different setup. It's an option. But you see the very same thing. What the difference is how we play within this setup in the different play styles, right? What changes is the player's movement, not my initial setup. So defensively, we're still here. Offensively, we're here in long ball. Defensively, Marcelo comes back in tight as a center back. Offensively, left back, fullback, finisher. And then Zambrotta stays as that offensive fullback, right? Plenty of coverage there. Then, of course, on the overload side, defensively, offensively, same positioning, but what changes is how we play. So in overload, short, quick, tiki-taka type passes, we're tight as a unit, moving across the pitch, overloading each channel until we work the ball into the attacking zone, what they call in American football the red zone. So if you hear me say it, that's what it basically means, danger zone. Once in the red zone, your team breaks forward, or if you win the ball high up the pitch, they break forward immediately for a counterattack, right? And then long ball, which would essentially be a counter that I would use if a team was playing overload, or a quick counter, just like I would use long ball counter. I'm looking to beat a pressing team by playing a long ball into my attackers, who will then converge on the receiver of the pass And then we start working possession from there after we beat that initial press with the opponent trying to overwhelm us, right? So it's same setup, just a different approach to how we play. Make sense? Yes, you can have two totally different formations, but why I stress this is there's players out there that will see possession after that or long ball counter. Oh no, the 4-3-3 is for quick counter. I got to have a different formation. No. Formations don't tie to play styles. You can do it if you play better with the formation of one play style than the other, of course. But your play, how you move the ball around, how you utilize your players' movement, that's what play styles are. Is their players' movement, right? Is your players' movement on the pitch, and then how you move the ball according to that in these different play styles. It's not directly tied to the formation. So we'll get into how Nick's going to utilize overload and see what we can learn from this. So let's get into it. Here's his setup. Very similar with the domination in the midfield. But he may play totally different. That's what we're here to find out. We're going to jump right in the game. I'm going to get the coaching pin ready, of course. Already scored 1-0, 15 in. It's pretty obvious that he was going to dominate in this because how quick he likes to play in the attack and how well he did in possession. So let's see how he does. I'm going to walk you play by play as we go. We'll fast forward through. We know he scores around the 15th minute. Of course, we'll have the cut-throughs. We won't just watch every second. But his editing team already has edited this, so it works out perfect. It's kind of like a coach's dream who's breaking down film. The editing's already done. Nice. Look at the ball movement. Look at how he spreads out the opponent's defense, and it's over. Just individual skill with perfect positioning. That's all that is there, guys. Individual skill with perfect positioning. So let's drop down the speed to 0.25. Let's get the coaching pin ready. We'll go in a blue. And let's check it out. So look at the triangles he has everywhere as the ball's moved around the pitch, right? Look at the triangles he has everywhere. You even got a player in here. Look at this. Just everywhere. Look at this. Constant. He ends up coming here, and then this is where the individual skill comes in because look at all the defenders got to try to cover here, guys. Not to mention that's Neymar on the ball versus PK, so he created a huge mismatch there. But go backwards and notice, as he's working the ball here, notice that he's got several options, right? And that's what overload does so well. And here's the funny thing. It wouldn't even have needed to be overload. This is just brilliant formational setup with his numbers, right? Even if they were more spread out. Now watch. Beautiful overlap here. So now the defenders have to go. We'll show it in red. Now that he has to, as a defender, has to think about who he's going to pull in this area. And now look at the numbers. Look at the numbers here. We'll stop frame by frame. Right? As long as you're even a decent passer here, even though the opponent's got good numbers too, there's just so many options. And unless you're switching constantly, which many players, if you notice the analysis, many players in eFootball rely heavily on their AI, and they just hold matchup and sit in one general location with one defender, which drives me crazy. And you'll even see Division I players, and I see people say like, oh, my movement with my defenders is way higher. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I'll show you what I mean here. Look, an elite defender is going to have to constantly switch. Now watch, let's count how many times he switches, okay? So look, this is Nick, gave up the ball. He got a bit lucky there, fair enough. But after this, and it seems like the defender was kind of in panic mode, not ready to actually intercept the ball anyway. But either way, that's a lucky go. But now watch the numbers and watch the passing. And let's see how many times the opponent switches his defender. And when he switches too. Perfect placement. I mean, he was so late on that player switching. Maybe if he realized he couldn't have got the ball, saw where Nick was trying to go, and he could have switched. And remember, a lot of this hindsight's 2020, but that's what coaching is. And then you drill this into your head. So on the pitch, now you make your decision a little bit quicker on the pitch. So you want to be very critical in these sessions. It's not, oh, I would have done it better. No, film sessions are meant to be very critical so you can learn from your mistakes. It's simple as that. So it's not a knock on this opponent per se. All right, look at the options here. Even if he wants to turn all the way back around, right? He has this, which would then open up this, which would then open up this, which then could open up this. But even right here, he has this, right? And I'm not mad at the opponent's choice here. Now all I would do, if he's really quick, would recognize that Pirlo's on the ball as a righty, try to force him this way, or I'd recognize that this player's got a tighter mark and force him this way. So I'd pull my defender in this area here to try to force that pass this way. So let's see what he does. But ultimately, it's still very tough. I mean, he's got so many numbers. He's got to try to constantly switch. It's going to be tough no matter what. But split-second decision, that's where my head's at. We already know Nick goes to Neymar. So now, he should have already been switched here. He should be closing this immediately because you do not want Neymar to have space on you in the box because all it takes is a little space and he's going to finish. So a little slow. A lot slow, I should say, on the reaction there. And then, of course, Neymar, we're about to see him do a little shake and bake here. PK guesses to the right. Nick obviously sees that in a nice little bink, little skill move, and finishes it off. Nice and easy, no big deal. He even, and this might not have been him, but it looks like it was. The last second, it looks like he wanted to see the keeper movement. Keeper didn't move, but just to be safe, Nick went near post. Very proficient. The champ, a.k.a. Noob Gamer, OG League 1 champion. He would have probably rushed the shot there a little bit. He's such a good player, but he rushes shots a lot of times, and it ends up hurting him. So brilliant goal. Not terrible from the opponent's defender, but that's where a lot of eFootball players have trouble if they're not switching their defenders enough. If they're getting too reliant on AI press or them just holding down X whenever the attacker gets close to try to catch the opponent by surprise instead of actively trying to block dribbling and passing lanes and trying to anticipate where their opponent's going. If you can anticipate well as a defender in eFootball, you're going to do so much better. So we see the switch here. Let's check this out. Love what I'm seeing. It looks like he's, you know what, without seeing this, you guys who have watched this, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like he wants some of those new volleys. Looks like he wants some of those new volleys, which I don't blame him because they are so nasty. Although he noticed he's not going out with out-and-out wingers. He's keeping that tight shape. But clearly, both Hazard and Neymar, and you'll see here in a bit from that beginning highlight, Pirlo gets a hell of an assist, and that's a later game. Might not be Pirlo. I think it is though. So once again, what do you notice? Domination in the midfield. Hullet's a whole player though, so he'll stretch. So he's got a whole player that's looking to stretch the defense, and an advanced striker that's going to stretch. So let's see how they play off of each other. Whole player and advanced striker combo. This will be interesting. Not to mention, the two AMFs could overlap. He's got a lot of options here. So this is a very good setup. We already know 4-2-2 is very meta in eFootball for obvious reasons. In any football game, it's a very safe, good option to go to. Can absolutely dominate and overload if you use it right. We already know where this is going. This seems very routine. Just a little... Oh, nice play by the defender. But you guys you guys notice something here. I always talk about this with regards to people who talk about the ratty players that play long ball counter. If you wanted to really use long ball counter and be able to dominate and control the game, not just park the bus and pray, this is one of the things you got to learn to utilize. Notice how even though the attacker doesn't check back like you really would in football, where you act like you're going for a long ball to pull the defender away, then check towards the ball to create that space. Notice how Nick forces it. This is how I play long ball counter, guys. And it's brilliant because you pull the defenders and you create this huge gap. Now watch this. Look, and he probably meant to play that actually through, but it doesn't matter because once Nick realized that it's not going through, he immediately took the ball into the negative, which created that space for him. Same concept. How did the defender catch up here, guys? What the? We got to see. How did the defender... That should be an open... Oh, he tried to... Obviously, hindsight's 20/20, but when you see from that angle, he clearly on the weaker foot had... But the move just worked brilliantly. Probably thought the defender was going to lunge or slide. So, high IQ decision. It happens sometimes, right? It's really actually a high IQ thinking, essentially giving the opponent more credit than he should have, right? So we see that there. Let's see if the opponent works this ball out. And let's see how Overload does defensively. Now look, this is the other place it's very dangerous. Look at this, guys. Look how Overload works. This is where the rats are actually loving Overload. Okay? Because it's similar to quick counter with that extremely aggressive press. Sorry, I had to get a drink. But it feels even more powerful because in quick counter, you're still in your positions. Your players are still in their general positions. And then several closest to the ball press. And because it's several players, it feels so overwhelming and it can really fluster an opponent and force them into mistakes. But in Overload, yes, it's the same concept where the nearest to the ball press. However, your entire team is moving, shifting towards the ball wherever it's at, whatever channel, and they're staying compact. So you have even more players in a closer area. So no matter where you look, you're seeing opposition kits, which can be even more flustering and create even more mistakes, right? So let's see what happens from this. Got two players. Let's see if he runs one back, one forward. Yep, brilliant. Perfect. Perfect defense, dude. Oh, he gets out of it. Oh, the opponent kind of got lucky, but... Oh! Oh, no. Either the opponent was super lucky there or that was super slick. But you see where the overwhelming pressure comes in. Oh my gosh, I thought the attacker was getting through there. And he still got it, though. Unbelievable. No way this connects. No way this connects. I quit if... Okay, thank goodness. If he misses this... Oh, man, but that's where eFootball will get you guys. It's just like, dude, come on. Sometimes those defenders miss that. But you see how overwhelming that pressure was. You see how overwhelming the pressure was. Look at the numbers in the midfield. Look at the numbers through the midfield. Now, this is how my setup is, and this is what I want to point out. And this is what I do for anything, not just Overload, but what I like about it with Overload is that you're in that compact area, and now you're making the defense extra uncomfortable. Why? Because look where the back line is, okay? Now, what do players many times do? Especially in counter setups. They set their attackers represented in red right up on these defenders. Then the defense, representing in pink, will have two tight marks or two man marks. If there's three-pronged, I go wingers, right? If it's two-pronged, then I go with the two center forwards, tight marking or man marking, right? Usually I go tight. Because man marking can mess you up, can really pull you out of position. So tight marking's good enough. And now what you do when you have a setup that's dominant in the midfield is you don't allow that. Look where the majority of the players are, guys. Right? They make the defenders have to make the choice as you're working the ball. And what happens most of the time, they get impatient, and represented in blue here, the defender's going to come out of shape, right? And once they come out of shape, you actively have your players now making runs, whatever those runs may be. And so you have an opponent that's looking to converge on the ball while you have your teammates that are running into the space, and that's what opens up opportunities to get the ball through on goal. That's why I love AMFs. That's why I love CMF hole players. That's why I love one center forward setups, and that's why you need a lot of times that stronger center forward that can hold the ball up, that can lay it off, the Ibras of the world, the Kohlers even. But I like the hybrid versions because a lot of times what you want is your attacker to stretch the defense out as well, to pull the defenders away, which creates even more space for your other players to run into, right? So real quickly, and we'll move on. The problem is, let's say I have Ibra represented in the eye here as a poacher. Let's just say this defender was here marking him. He's going to come into these areas many times, which will keep the defense where your team potentially wants to run, right? Whereas an advanced striker, a player like CR7 or Suarez, let's say right here, is making those runs like I just showed and pulling those defenders out. So now in red is that space is now opened for these runs to go through, right? So let's proceed. We'll go to regular speed and we'll just watch how Nick does from here on out, regular speed. And I'll be done with the coaching part unless you guys have any questions. But these are just things to notice, right? And the way Nick set up his team, brilliant. Now we watch the way he plays with raw skill. We've already seen a little bit of it. But just pay attention to the compact positioning of the team defensively. Pay attention to the compact positioning of the team offensively. And pay attention to the difference between this and possession, where when you win the ball in certain areas, the team will read, the attacking AI will read when to dart forward and go for the counterattack as opposed to staying tight, trying to possess the ball. So let's get to watching. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's so nice. We got to watch it twice. Beautiful vision. Beautiful finish. Calm as can be. Doesn't freak out, just like I've done that before. What a goal. Pro IQ goal. Beautiful. Beautiful. Please let him watch it. Oh, they're going to let him watch? Nope, they didn't let him watch it. All right, we're going to watch it back. That's okay. All right, here we go. One more little breakdown because we have to, right? All right, lays it to striker. Striker lays it back. Give and go on a give and go. Nick immediately knew where he was going, but pay attention to the numbers all over. Let me see here. Guys, I just want to make sure I'm answering all the questions. I'll keep going through. If you have any questions, don't worry. I'll go back and break them down. All right, so lays it off, creates the run for CR7. He immediately knew what he was going to do, but pay attention to all the numbers around. He has several options. The opponent probably is not expecting this out of all those options, but either way, look at this ball. You just got to cherish it. Brilliant stuff. What a finish. Good stuff, Nick. What a goal. So let's move forward. Opponent's trying to force some through balls, it looks like. Just off of that one play. It might have not been all game, but let's see. Look at the defense. Look at how many white jerseys there are on defense. And now they break out. Of course, they see the opportunity for the counterattack. And that's where the dynamic aspect of overload comes in a 3-0 victory. Let's fast forward. Nick's in what it looks like is yellow here. Opponent's in black. He's up 1-0 here. Look at the tight space. Now on this one, I noticed the opponent's a lot tighter defensively, but does it matter? Let's see. Oh, how did he beat the defender there? I love the Club America kits, by the way, the new Club America kits. Opponent's going to quit, eh? I don't blame the opponent there because these do piss you off if you watch there. This isn't Nick's fault at all, but watch the defender here. It essentially read Cruyff's run, and the defender, it looked like Van Dijk didn't react, but what can you do? It happens. Not Nick's fault or the opponent's, really. It's how the game goes. Wait, are they playing each other again, or is this a whole different opponent? Did they match twice? Because that opponent quit, it looked like, right? Either way, whatever. We're here to watch highlights. Kuka, what a run. Oh, my goodness. Secondary ball. Too easy. See what we got here. The opponent on the attack now. Oh, my gosh. Nick pulled his goalie. Oh, that was IQ 1 million, guys. That was IQ 1 million. Nick started pulling his goalie, which is smart because he expected the through ball. The opponent either saw on the radar or knew like that's part of his strategy. And look what he does here. This is brilliant. Look at that. He recognized it. Nick knew like, oh shit, that could have been bad. That was pretty sick. IQ 1 million. Look at the run from Kusa, guys. This is like my Marcelo. I'm telling you, the offensive fullback and fullback finisher setup with the new fluid formations, because you can pull some players back to help cover in case they get caught forward where you used to not really have that coverage. Guys, it gives you width, especially if you have more narrow setups. The overlaps are brilliant. And speaking of overload, which before overload even came out, check out my Overload the Channels video. It explains in detail why overloading, why creating numerical advantages in these different channels can be so helpful. And overlapping fullbacks really help with that. They really help tip the scale towards you. And keep watching this Kuka throughout these highlights. Not to mention, pay attention to the quickness, the intent behind all of his passes. Pay attention to the quickness. Look at this. Bink, bink, all the way out wide. Good. Now look at the options. Bink, and good night. Highlight real stuff. Guys, holy shit. This right here was exactly what I was just talking about. Look at the width. Now picture if he just had two defensive fullbacks, which is how I used to play, which is how a lot of people try to say, oh, you got to have only defensive fullbacks. You can trigger them forward. No, don't worry. No, it's not the same. The timing of these runs. The ability now, by the way, of the offensive fullbacks to recover is well worth getting this type of play out of it. Because think about it. If that's not there, does he still have options? Of course. But it takes away just the ability to absolutely demolish your opponent, guys. At least try one offensive fullback if you don't already. And then from there, try one offensive fullback and a fullback finisher. Or at the very least, be ready to trigger your fullbacks forward. Beautiful stuff so far, as expected. Looks like a pretty good opponent, potentially. Oh, Knicks winning 2-0. Let's see if we can get any close matches. Just pure domination. But you know what? He might dominate everybody right now. I mean, overload. If you guys notice, Nick plays extremely fast. Extremely aggressive. Right? With intent, though, never just hoofing the ball. And that's literally like overload's meant for him. Quick, short passes with intent. And then when you win the ball high up the pitch after an aggressive press, boom, you quickly look for an attack to finish the ball off the most direct route. And that's what he's doing. He's doing it beautifully. That's just the truth. There's no way you could be a hater and look at this and be like, oh, he's not good. Oh, he's lucky, or it's brilliant stuff. All right, so let's see if we got a good, even game here and see if we can get a little chess match. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. This dude is absolutely cooking. Guys, it's just quick thinking in the moment. Beautiful. Look at this tiki-taka. Bink, bink, bink. Bink. But look. All right. Bink, 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 bink. And so immediately, all right, going back to the league champ, to Oh No Zap, my boy Noob Gamer FC. Sorry for the double name thing. He confuses me, but sometimes you have a Discord name and a YouTube name. But Noob Gamer FC, make sure you check his YouTube out. He's up and comer, on his way to 2K subscribers, but he's a league champion, Division 1 player, great player, just like Nick. But what he would do here is like get it, boom, and shoot. Get it, boom. He creates so many chances, probably even more so than Nick, just an attacking monster, but then he'll rush his shots. But what you'll see with Nick is he'll be pinging it, and in the flow, you might think, okay, boom, shoot the ball, which in most cases it gets blocked. But he doesn't. And let's slow this down to realize and appreciate the quickness and thinking here. Okay? Boom. Cuts in. And recognizes that he has the opening on the other side. Now remember though, it almost seems easier said than done when it's slowed down. But you got to remember the ping, ping, ping that was going on. So it's almost like you're in rhythm and it's hard to break that rhythm. So watch. Beautiful stuff here. Starting, recognizes the head pass, the correct head pass. Lays it off. Ping. Notice a little fake there, by the way. Notice a little fake there. Like he's going to go outside. He probably even scanned it. And honestly, he had that little opening to thread that needle if he really wanted to, which could have been like a little bit of a nasty pass. But within a split second, he analyzes that he's got a better option. Boom. Now watch. Ping. In the rhythm, it's ping, 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 ping. But then he doesn't ping and then shoot right away. Recognizes what to do. Bink. Look at that. Simply just fake shot, stands still, lets the defender run by, and just goes the other way. That's literally professional level, quick thinking, beautiful stuff right there. Brilliant. So I think you guys get the damn point. If you guys use overload properly, you can absolutely dominate. And for players who are very quick thinking, who like to play very direct, but still very mental, like having their mindset and not automatic, not get the ball, hoof it, get the ball, hoof it. Because when I say direct, because of the rats in eFootball, people will think, oh, get the ball, hoof it, no, right? You still have the mental aspect of the game. Every single pass Nick made, yes, it was quick. Ping, 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 ping. And you'll see haters say that if you see like, oh, he's just bringing the FIFA ping pass into eFootball, passing so quick in one time and the defenders can't even react. He's just passing fast. He's not even thinking where he's passing. If you don't think he knows exactly where he's passing the ball every time, because you'll see those comments like, oh, Nick's one-touch passing is haram ball. That's ratty. He says crossing's ratty, but he passes so fast no one can react. Like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Every single pass he's making, he's not just pressing the pass button and just where it goes, it goes. And that, and people legit think that. It's like coping to the all-time high because they can't defend it. Every single pass, as you've seen when I slowed it down, he'll look one way, he'll scan the field as he gets it, boom, pass another way. Right? He'll get the ball with Hullet here. He'll look at Ronaldinho, nope. Go to Messi. Look at Suarez. Nope. Go to Bellingham. Then to Suarez. Then he'll recognize, oh yeah, way a long time ago I triggered Ronaldinho. Now Suarez will lay it off to an on-running Hullet, and immediately he plays Ronaldinho. All one touch because he's already scanned the pitch, because he's already triggered the runs, and he's doing all of it quickly. That's what made that Barcelona tiki-taka back in the Pep Messi days with Xavi and Iniesta, all the boys, so special, is because they trained it so much they made them look like robots. And they had several players in a 10-yard space, 5-yard space even. They could play in a phone booth and just make decisions quick and with intent, but other people's brains couldn't keep up, so it might, oh, that's robotic. But there's very much a lot of thought going into all those passes. Bravo to Nick. Brilliant stuff. Didn't expect anything different. So now we're going to get in and play. But let's read some of the comments here after that breakdown and see what you all think about it. Give me 1 second. Let me get the coaching pin off the screen. Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant stuff to watch. What a way to start off the stream. Great stuff. Great football. We'll see if we can do even a fraction of that with an out wide. Or overload, sorry. And if you can't, you can just keep practicing with it, of course. You should do that anyway. But I'll show you some counters to it. All right, 1 second. Nick runs the foot market. Overload. Brilliant stuff. Okay. Appreciate it, Phil. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Manveer. All right, so let's see. So I'm struggling. Manveer says, "OG, I'm struggling on what to do. I have a secondary striker on my left and a right midfielder on my right side. I have attacking fullback and secondary side on the left is defensive. Do I need?" So here's what you need to do, Manveer. If you haven't already, join the Discord. Share your setup. Share your setup in our tactics page, and we'll get to it. We'll get to breaking it down. I want to see everybody on paper. I want to see the type of players you have, and I have a OG coaches a community now. The difference is a membership. If you get the MVP, you get 24/7 access. I can coach you right away. Which AMG, I gotta scroll up and see what AMG need help. But if you don't, or if you're on a budget, I put a section together. Coaching the community section where I will get to it. It will take a little bit longer, but I will get to it. Post it there, any questions you have, and I promise I'll answer. But I need to see your full team layout. I need to see everything. And I had to do that. I have to do it. Otherwise, I was just realizing that I was having tons and tons and tons and tons of questions, and it's like I got to find a way to make it fair, but then find a way to give back to the channel too. Lost our players because Konami released players with new... No, we didn't lose players. That's a little far-fetched. It's more like the players won't be as effective. But we didn't lose our players. They're still in the team. As you can see, I have a team full of the quote-unquote old players. Black says, am I tripping, or do players with fighting spirit take quicker touches on the ball? Perhaps. I haven't looked into that, but it's not a... I mean, we could look into it. Perhaps. Malik says Nick is a killer. He absolutely is. Rango's got Conti. Yep, I have Conti as well. No, link up is not necessary. I can show you here. Here my counter overload / out wide and quick counter tactics with Conti. Hold on. And I didn't like the prolific winger in this setup. I liked Messi better. You can see I had Yamal on the right. So I had my build-up Van Dijk connected to Yamal connected to Ibra. But I didn't like Ibra trying to force his way close for a 1-2. I didn't like that, and not very often am I going to force this ball. Yeah, to beat the press sometimes is it cool, but so you can see I don't even use it. So you don't have to use the link-ups. Essentially, I wanted the quick counter and out-wide proficiencies, because Ruben Amorim, he has out-wide at 89, but he has quick counter at 81, so your team takes a hit. So I needed a new out-wide manager, and out-wide is very much viable and even better than before. It wasn't very useful, but people still slept on it. You could have made it work even in eFootball 26 and before, but it's definitely more powerful now with the fluid formations. We'll go into that for sure. Mansing gives some video ideas. Absolutely appreciate it, bro. Manveer said, can you make a video on the Noob Gamers Possession game? Absolutely. So we got a fan of the champ. I love it. Another video idea is how to master breakdown defenses in the box and how to improve decision making. Very good stuff, Manveer. Absolutely. Very good stuff. James John, what's up, buddy? How about the script, Mohammed? Yep, I don't like that either, and I don't think you're wrong. if you play AI Division 1, it's hard not to think there's a script going on. Definitely sucks. Anything that takes away from the player's skill sucks. What's up, Cranky? How are you, bro? Pimachokse. What a name. I'm going to call you Pima. How to attack with overload. Hopefully you just got a master class in it, bro, because Nick just showed you about as perfect as can be on how to attack in overload. All right, AMG. Let's see what you got. I need to know, do you have any individual instructions on in... We can talk later. I'll stream about the other thing I wanted to ask. Okay. About the formation and quick counter. So no. So individual instructions. So I'm glad you brought that up because I constantly get that asked, and I get why. But that's one of the things where I kind of know if these guys making these, like, with all due respect, I truly mean this. I think Manessa is I know he's a fantastic eFootball player, fantastic entertaining creator without a doubt. But he's more on the entertainment side, and what drives me crazy is the way that he'll put, like, the individual instructions you have to use are this here. No. I use defensive on my anchor man, and I strongly suggest whoever your number 6 is, you put defensive on both your regular and sub tactic, just to make sure, because it's that important that they stay in this danger zone ahead of the center backs. Now, the reason why outside of that, I don't have any individual instructions on either my regular or sub tactic is because in game I use tight or man marking, typically tight marking. If it's 2 strikers, I'll typically tight mark both. If it's a 3-pronged attack, I'll typically tight mark the outside players just to lock them down, and then I can handle the striker from there forward, right? Or if it's a very involved and tough AMF, a Messi, that Hazard Belgium version card, I'll man mark them. All right? Now, on the attacking side, defensive and anchoring, I typically won't use it all. Okay? I typically won't use it all. If anything, maybe there will be an attacking player in out wide that I want more central, so I put him anchoring. Maybe defensively, if I'm like, you know what? Vieira, typically I like him helping my left and right back, but for this game I want him central. I might put that, but guess what? You notice, it's all game-by-game basis. The only permanent instruction is for the anchor man to stay defensive. Because even though typically they do, without that instruction, there's times where they'll veer forward and you can't take risks. That's the anchor of your team, not just an anchor man in position, anchor of your team. You need them there. Other than that, I look at my opponents and I make those instructions. So that's the only permanent individual instruction, and it always will be. Well, I shouldn't say that. You never know. The game could get goofy, the positioning where you have to put another one on to manipulate every game. But fortunately, right now, that's the only one. The rest go to the skill gap in reading my opponent and seeing what I should do. If that makes sense. So, hopefully, you sent to the general Discord. Manveer, just copy and paste it over to the other one and delete it. No big deal. Or even if you leave it, it's not the end of the world. Alright, so now, let's get into it. We'll get an AI practice match, and then I want one of you guys. Or Phil, do you want to play, bro? Are you in to play real quick? I want to use my Phil and Kami. I'll play you guys back to back if you're cool with that. I want to play against, or AMG, if you want to play a game, let me know. But I want to play first my out wide, my counter tactics. So no, first let's go with our actual overload and long ball tactics. It's the first thing we'll do. And then I want to get some community games in. So this is what I do every single phase, guys. I never rush into it. I get to Division 1 every time off of this concept, and then I focus on content. But I go in, I use this as my lab, and then obviously we'll get some community matches in too to get more PvP practice. Although the AI in this game is very good, so to the point where you feel the script in it. And then I'll start about a week, 2 weeks in, go for my run to Division 1, share it all with you guys, and then back to content, and then back to sharpening up and getting better. And every single time it feels so good going in prepared, going in especially with this new iteration with the exact setup that I'm already familiar with, and then putting to the test how the work I've done went through. So you see the difference in just like jumping in and going for it. But that's just me as an OCD type of coach, type of preparation mentality, as opposed to just turn on and whip it out. is kind of the approach they take, you know. Turn it on, and that's kind of the renegade commie, I call it. Nick runs the foot market, does it too. But that's part of what makes them so good and dangerous, is they just are like, let's go, I'll learn, I don't care. How do you shoot the ball again? We'll figure it out, you know. You got to have some big gonads for that. Going in against the high level opponents on live with recorded games, you know. And on a side note, I need some cool kits. I know the Barca away kits are sick. We'll let them wear them this game. These are some of the sickest kits this year. I got these bad boys on, but I don't like the golds too flat in the ones that I'm wearing. So I need some kit ideas, guys. We'll go through that too. All right, so my turn to play in the overload, and I'll even go second half into long ball. Right, here's the opponent. They're playing long ball counter. They might switch to possession second half, but long ball counter. So this is a perfect example. So right here, I leave Aguero alone. If Bellingham or Junior or Ito get too dangerous, I watch them, but I go straight for Verts and Yamal. So my wingbacks will be tight marking in this one. So it's which it doesn't show here, but that's who it will be based on where they're at. Only man marking is where you pick your players. But left mid, tight mark. Right mid, tight mark. You make sure you pick it on both. Individual instructions. Left mid, right mid, tight mark. Left mid. Right mid. Double check it. You see only the defensive for both my regular and sub tactics, with Vieira staying back defensively. We check our conditions. We see what we got here. Boom, 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 boom. No up arrows, no down arrows. Couple players to really watch for. My Zambrotta should be flying this game. Ronaldinho, big time boost. This is looking real good for the boys. So let's see how we do. Overload, let's do it. Boca Juniors away. Yeah, but unfortunately, I wish they did it like FC where you could pick one or the other, home or away, but you have to do both. So you got to kind of judge the kits all together. All right, let's get into it. What's up, Martin? How are you, bro? If you want to join the rest of the biggest crowd, everybody's in YouTube, but you're welcome to stay in Twitch if you want, Martin. Thanks for your support over there as well. Holding down the fort over there is cool. Anybody in Kick, welcome to you guys too. And people watching from X, of course, I can't see anything you're saying in X because OBS don't roll like that, but thank you for everyone joining from every platform. If you could please remember to leave a like, even if you leave a comment, just an emoji or something, it really does go a long way. It would truly be appreciated. But thank you guys so much for joining nonetheless. All right, let's get into it. Overload tactics. Similar to Nick in our setup where we're looking to dominate in the midfield. But I'm nowhere near the raw talent of Nick on the sticks. So let's see how we do here. And this isn't also... It's a little practice. We'll get the PvP matches. Look at the run from Hullet. And then, notice that he recycled his run, right? You see the teams close together. I'm not rushing anything. Taking space when I have it. There's that block shot. Some type of fake shot could have helped there. But you see the difference there, right? You see the difference in possession where everybody's a little bit more close quarters. You got to be a little bit more quick. especially considering if I'm facing long ball counter that's sitting back. If I'm facing a pressing team, they're going to be way more in your face. Way more in your face. So see how they drop back in long ball counter? On paper, that's why overload beats long ball counter. There's not near enough pressure. Marcelo's an absolute monster. Boom, boom. Get in there. Oh, you can see how dangerous this setup can be. It's just quick thinking. Then you're still triggering runs. Remember, your team's only breaking forward for a counterattack if you're up around the box. When you're back in this area, you're going to have to pass and move until you decide to trigger. So watch, I'll trigger Marcelo. Boom. Boom, watch Marcelo. See what I'm saying? I plan that out, and if you can get smart on when you trigger your runs, you can absolutely be a beast in this setup. Oh, owned me defensively there. Needed to be a little bit more on the trickery. And then you got the aggressive press. But once the team got beat, notice everyone's dropping back. We didn't hold the high line there. And it was almost down 1-0 on one little play. But thank goodness my team was elastic, if you will, in the back line. Because if we just held, they probably would have been through on a breakaway there. Or perhaps they would have been offside, but probably through on the breakaway there. And this is how I picture, if you guys haven't watched the new Showtime skills that are coming out, this is how I picture ping pass. They have that decisive pass. I picture it being like this. Every pass for a decisive passer will be with that speed, but without as long of a wind-up time or power-up time, whatever you want to call it. There's a fake shot and still blocked. Still blocked after one fake shot, so maybe we need to do 2 or 3. The old LBC. Look at that. Brilliant. There it is. Gosh, they just always got players in the way, but it works out perfectly. I mean, overload is nasty. Now, playing devil's advocate, what about bad servers? What about when there's delay? But that's also why you have long ball, which we're going to use this second half. But guys, I want you to pay attention to what happened here. Opponent's doing a very good job in parking the bus, but also picking up runners. But notice my CMF hole player comes through from deep unmarked. Right? Hullet was already up there, but the 2 CMF hole players do well to work off each other. If one's up, one's typically holding till late. That's what happened there, and it allows me to get a goal. Very important goal. Because my hole players are working up late, and the opponent couldn't grab a hold of the runs. Goodbye, Hullet. Boom. Boom. What? Beautiful Neuer, best keeper in the game. I don't know what happened on that pass there. Look out wide here. Very good. I like how Zambrotta stayed out wide there too. Mainly triggered that. Alright, come on, the squad's got to converge. I thought I switched to the subtactic and didn't know it, but I didn't. The team's not converging as close together. It's kind of odd. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I thought I could get him veered. All right. Good. Send Bellingham manually. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, I thought I had that. That's where sometimes that angle can toast you. I saw Inception had a pretty good camera angle. I got to figure out what he was using too. Ah. See, I'm making those mistakes in those smaller areas. thinking I have those angles and I don't, but see, that's where it can get tough. And he probably, let's see if he switched to possession or not. Perhaps he did, perhaps he didn't. But that's where the smart AI is good. It can properly prepare you just like an opponent can switch. My goodness, come on. Good. Look at the run by Ronaldinho. Oh, that would have been nasty. I went for the stunning volley, which is a sick addition, by the way. W Konami on that one, for sure. Beautiful ball there. There it is. Yes, boys. We'll take it. Have that option is brilliant. Because it's very realistic. Remember last year what they would have done? That stupid dink header that makes no sense. Manveer says, hey, OG, if you review my team on Discord, my user is Holland. Oh, you're Holland on there. Okay. Yeah. Put it. You got to make sure you note. My MVP coaching is 24/7. You got to put it, if in order to get it to where I like look into the area, put it into the OG coaches, the community. I had to do it that way. Otherwise, I was getting 1,000 questions and I felt bad, but I couldn't. To be fair, put it into the OG coaches, the community, and I will get to it when I have time. If you want it right away, every night I have a timer every day. Well, really twice a day I do it, but go to the MVP coaching membership in YouTube. Then you can get 24/7 access right away, but I'll get to you, don't worry, in the community section. But you got to put it in the right section, because by the time, with 500 plus members, bro, by the time I get on and check, it will probably be long gone. So make sure it's in the right tab. All you guys, make sure you note that. I don't see a lot of that. If I turn my pings on, or my notifications, so if you tag me, unless it's membership stuff or in a certain tab, by the time I see it, guys, it's probably long gone with all the people in there. So just keep that in mind. I'm not ignoring you. It's good problems to have as we grow, but for those who are used to smaller communities, or you got to remember how many people are in there typing different stuff. Wildcard says, any chance you reviewed Nick's? Oh, you just missed it, Wildcard. Scroll back. I did an in-depth breakdown. Yeah, Wildcard. I did see the Pele goal. I didn't break that down. I saw it in like the preview at the beginning, but we broke down his gameplay, which was absolutely brilliant. But if you rewind the stream, you'll see it. I did see his goal with Pele. It was very similar, but much more clean than mine right there with Suarez. That was pretty kind of inspired, that pass by Nick. He did another one in the stream, though, that I did break down to Ronaldo. He played a nice little chip pass, and it wasn't as beautiful as a finish, but it was a nice calm finish off of a beautiful little chip give and go, which is a great play to utilize between an on-rushing attacker and an attacking midfielder with the new stunning volleys, for sure. Make sure you guys pay attention to that. So you trigger them here. Let's see if I can get this. Watch this. Oh, that's going to end up working out sometime, guys. You watch. We're going to get one from midfield. Did I just potentially spark what could be a kickoff glitch right there if I timed the pass better? All right, we're going into long ball, by the way. So this is for when your opposition is playing maybe out wide, maybe quick counter, maybe frustrating you and out wide. So here's how long ball works, right? Notice there's more space now. The team's spread out. And what we're looking for, back line, holding the ball, because we have the 2-0 lead, no rush. And then once we get it into an attacker, watch how our team will converge. Let Messi take his space. Now watch, they're going to converge. See how they converge and look for the short pass? Touch hit. I wanted a better touch. I wanted to do a knock on there. But you'll see when I play the ball more vertical, they'll converge on the attacker. But until then, notice they keep the space, okay? So he's still playing long ball counter, didn't switch to possession. Sometimes they'll switch. Using the width perfectly. Come on. Good. L1 cross. If you're not within the 18 and you cross it, hold L1 for an early cross. It'll be a much better service. Good. Ah, he didn't pass it right away like I wanted there. So now look, I'm dropping back. We're not pressing as much like with overload. There's a press. Holy crap. They know how to create something out of nothing, I'll tell you. All right, so here we go. I press super cancel. Watch, super cancel. I ran away trying to show you guys, but you super cancel it. Then you make sure you get to positioning on your opposition. I did a terrible job there. You see I ran my hullet too far away trying to show you. But I always am holding super cancel, then positioning myself where I want to go. That's how you try to win corner, because otherwise a lot of times the attacker can win them, especially on crosses and stuff. Super cancel, manually place your defender. All right, we send Marcelo. Look at Marcelo on the far side, too far away. Not going to play him there. Messi, watch Messi. Look at Messi. Oh, no, they targeted the wrong player. I hate when it does that. Messi had a great run. Yes, touch. Holy whack finish, Messi. Beautiful and everything else, but what the did he do? Guess I overpowered it, to say the least. Ah, get going, Marcelo. See, he's a fullback finisher, so he's not... His AI runs were like, no, you need to go help in the midfield. Boom. Ah, we're about one pass off. Good. Goal. Oh, come on with the low screamer. Yes, we're about to play, Phil. After this, we'll play. I'm going to go overload / long ball first. Then the second game, I'm going to go out wide / quick counter. All right. Beautiful. Make him force it. Remember, when you're in long ball, it's a deep block just like long ball counter. Now watch, they'll converge shorter. Now that it's not on an attacker, they won't. But see, it's just, you got much more spacing. Ah, he ran through. See, that's where a poacher would have been nice. But that's me who's got to read that. That's me who's got to read that better. Our ball will take it. But yeah, so if you play an opponent, so you can always, if it's the servers are bad, if your opponent's doing well, shutting you down in the tight space, you know, with Lampard, you do have the long ball option, right? Holy, good recovery by Rio. Rio's a pretty big beast, dude. I notice he's got very good recovery. Good. Get all those passing Showtime skills. Good run. Good. See Messi there. To Marcelo. Cross back post. Ah, come on. Better ball, better run from Bellingham, whichever one. Good movement. Way to work it across the whole team. Here's a nice little set play if you guys want to try it. Let's get my shooter going. We'll get where's Messi at? We'll use Suarez. Messi's taking the corner. So watch. So I'm here. Boom. Boom. Oh, no. You guys seen who I was trying to lay off. I hate when the game does that, guys. I hate it. That's a prime example. Terrible situation, even though I recovered nicely, where the game chooses the wrong target for me. And if it was a tighter game, I would have subbed by now, but I don't need to. Good run by Hullett. Dead tired Hullett. Let's see what we got here. Oh. How about another one? Oh, I didn't want that to go to Bellingham. All right, and that's that. So there's Overload in a nutshell. Quick, sharp, short passes. You choose when to manually trigger your runs. If you're pressing enough and win the ball in the attack, your team will dart forward, so you have that dynamic aspect of the game. Now I'm going to show you my out. I'm going to start with out wide because I played that here. You can see the domination. But we're going to go against my boy Phil, Division 1 player. Shout out Big Phil. Someone I've coached that's been essentially, for all intents and purposes, like my first subscriber. So shout out Big Phil. We'll get a game going. Let me switch my game plan. And let's talk about it here. So we have out wide and overload. And then Nick's video, for all intents and purposes, represents overload. This will represent out wide. Change manager. Nope, sorry. Change game plan. Game plan. Out wide. I'm going to show you how I use this with my Conti. You've seen I switch up the system a little bit. This is one of those situations for out wide. Switch up the setup. But then you'll see in my sub tactic for quick counter very much the same as I typically go for. I love the new fluid formations. All right, boys, I'm going to use the restroom. Phil, I'm going to set up a room, and then we will get going. Guys, what's coming up too most likely tomorrow, I want to show you real quick without showing you the password. It's going to be a first come, first serve, except for members like Phil if he wants to play. If you're an OGFC member, if like Nick wanted to play, he's a member, so he gets first dibs. But we're going to run custom tournaments. It's only up to 8 players, but it doesn't mean we can't run one, then another after, then another. So the first one's already set up. You would go in, you would go to join tournament, search by ID, right? There's a tournament ID, but you guys don't know the password. So basically 8 people will enter. I'll accept them, then I choose when to start the tournament. And if we want certain players to play, we'll give them the password. If not, I'll say, all right, here's the password, boom, and I'll lay it out there, and then the first people to enter it get to play. 8-man tournament, and I can spectate throughout. So you never know when we're watching. We'll go game to game to game, watch some great football advance, and then the winner of the tournaments, right, these are qualifying rounds, qualify for OG Cup 1, which will be on a different date. It could be all on the same day where the qualifying rounds go. You win a tournament, then you get a break for a few hours, and you come back for the actual cup, right? So it's just a little setback since Konami's limiting. I wish we could do 16 players, 32, 64, right? The only thing I do have to say is I wasn't going to cut off anybody because we were going to have buys and stuff, but Konami only allows 4 and 8, so we'll do a minimum of that many. We'll have to go by 4s, right? And we'll kind of go in order. And that way when we open up the code, outside of letting members get some spots first, it's fair and square, and it's not no favoritism. So I'm excited about it. We'll do that tomorrow. If we get enough shit, we might do it on this live. We'll have to see. But I'm going to use the restroom, grab some drinks, and get ready because now we're going to dive in to out wide. We just went over overload. We're going to dive into out wide and why I believe it's the best setup to counter overload. Let me read this really from Cranky. If they drop a clot with overload and quick counter, that would be amazing. And that would be the last manager I'd ever buy. I love it. Overload and QC. Be a ton of fun. Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of Tuchel was a lot of fun with possession and quick counter. Although I feel like the most strategic. I like having two contrasts. Like, I really like this Conti because the out wide and the quick counter contrast each other very well. Deeper block, more patient defensively, working the ball in the space. And then you got, obviously, quick counter, which is more direct, more quick, with a press defensively. So I like the contrast in my managers. All right, here we go. I know. It would be insane. A little similar, though, to where if you can shut off one, you can shut off the other type of thing. All right, so I'll get into it, and then we'll go into the game. Out wide into quick counter, right? Or the overload crusher, if you will. And here's why. If I'm in out wide, according to the game, and remember, these are only tidbits to reference. There's so much more to it. But players essentially on the attack are looking to build the ball up, and then once you get it into a space where you can cross, that's when the players will dash towards the goal. I'm not a big crosser in this, though, so this is where you have to get creative. And once you work the ball, notice that I don't have wingers because they stay on the touchline, which could be useful, and I could use them some games, but I have AMFs here because when I get that ball in that dangerous area and my players start dashing, I want to still be able to work the ball centrally. Now, it is nice to have that edge crossing just in case, and if it's open, I'll cross the ball all day if it's in the run of play, but I'm not just going for it, right? I more want to use the width, more want to use the mid-block, right, which you see here. So it's not too deep, not too high. It's actually my favorite way the defense lines up, although that dynamic setup with overload is clutch. But that's the unique aspect is when you get the ball near where it could be crossed, your players will dash towards dangerous area to finish. But you can take advantage of that through interplay as well. Then, when you get the ball after you gain possession, your players immediately go out wide. Another reason I have more central players, because I don't want that huge gap in the middle. But notice where I put Bellingham here compared to my sub tactic. Notice the difference. Why did I do that? Well, I have Marcelo defensively as a center back, but offensively fullback finisher. What does that mean? He is going to look to join the central area of the pitch, right? And because I have Ronaldinho further up as an AMF, if Marcelo is joining Vieira and Hullet to make a triangle there, it made more sense to push Jude to the left side where he has a very good weak foot, and he can provide that width like Zambrotta provides on the right side. So we still have these beautiful triangles everywhere across the pitch. If Bellingham was more centralized like he is in my sub-tactic, it got a little clustered in there, right? Now, I could have put Marcelo as a center back, even offensive, manipulated it to where only I sent him and he became more of an overlapping back. I could even go offensive fullback. But it actually works good to have two fullbacks that can overlap, that are great on the ball, but one, like a fullback finisher, can recover a lot quicker. Plus, he doesn't have shadow hunt, which absolutely helps a ton. So I like him more in this manner, with Bellingham, at least for out wide, providing the width. And you'll see how this works out in game, right? Using out wide, but with no wingers. Then, when we go to quick counter, if we want to press our opponent, let's say we're in out wide, and we're trying to win the ball and immediately switch it to beat the press, use our space to beat down that overload in each channel. Let's say if that's not working out too well, if we need to press the opponent, they're having too much space when they have the ball, we're not able to control it enough to take advantage of our when we have the ball, which is where our advantage is at. So now we'll go to our sub-tactic quick counter, because as soon as we lose the ball, we converge. So now our opponent's got to be extra quick. Now they're going to feel that clustered up space and have to try to make good decisions, as opposed to having, you know, more room to move and more room to make decisions. And then once we win the ball, we're still looking for more tiki-taka play than a typical quick counter player, but it's more direct and through the center and not as much horizontally and diagonally, right? So that's what we're looking at. And then I always got to make sure of this. I always forget this. I'm going to do it while you guys are live. Never forget to set your rolls up, because it can screw you up. Neuer captain, long free kick bells, yep. Nope, this should be Messi. Free kick taker 2 is Ronaldinho. Left corner kick Ronaldinho. This should be Messi on the right. Suarez for PKs. Company joining the attack. Perfect. Alright, perfect. Then let me set this up real quick, otherwise I'll forget. So base team settings. Alright. Alright, we're set up there. So now, game plan list, that's my out wide. Then we go to my overload. And match rolls. Neuer's captain. Bellingham long free kick, short free kick. Messi, Ronaldinho, yep. Left corner kick, Ronaldinho, Messi. PK taker, Louis. Company joining. Perfect. Okay, now we're dead set. But all I got to do is switch, and then Phil, you ready? I'm going to set up the room. Out wide. Match. Friend match. 1v1 match room. Set password off. Dream team done. I'm going to invite you now, Philly boy. Alright, Phil, you should have the invitation. And we'll get into it and show you an example how this works. Now, Phil had to deal with this all throughout the league, so the connection probably isn't going to be the greatest. But shout out to Big Phil. I know a lot of the opponents are newer and don't really know what he was dealing with, but he rung off some wins in the league, for one, and then had to deal with some of the worst delay you've ever seen. It kind of sucks, but he keeps trooping through. He's somebody who, like Kami, wasn't necessarily a lifelong football guy, but they started loving the sport, then putting their time and effort into getting better. And I really just respect anybody that puts the time and effort to improve in anything, but starting from scratch and not having that base knowledge from playing the game is so tough. People don't realize it, you know. Alright, so let's go in. We got our out wide. Let's play. We'll get a few different matches in, Phil. Depending on the connection, we'll see how it is. If it's just terrible connection, then we'll just play one or two, but we'll see how that goes. Another reminder, guys, make sure you like the channel, or sorry, like the video if you haven't. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I hope you like it, though. And if you can, just leave a comment. It could be anything. Drop some fire emojis in there if you're enjoying it. Let's make it nice. Let's play, what do you guys say? Let's go to Wembley. Let's play at Wembley. And then you know we got to switch up that ball. I think it's in regulations. Yep. This is my favorite, bro. I don't know why. It won't save it when I want this ball. This is the ball I want to use every game. This ball is so nasty. This ball is so nasty. All right, let's get to it. Phil's got probably even more players than me because I had lost my original account. Which, if you ever wonder why I'm so much more private now, that's why from that time. There's a story behind it. So he's in long ball counter. So you see he's got one striker, two CMFs, CMF and AMF. So I will tight mark that one striker. We'll see how the AMFs do. Sub tactic, individual instructions, tight mark. Going center forward. Defensively, he's very defensive with two defensive fullbacks. So you can see he's looking for runs. Left and right midfield, Hullett and Seedorf is actually who I like. Hold on, let's look at this. Seedorf. Hullett and Seedorf. So, similar to a three-pronged attack, I'm going to mark the Y guys here. And if it's a two-pronged attack, I'll typically tap mark both forwards. But these are a little bit deeper. That's where you got to be watch your decision making, see how your defenders do when you're tight marking there. And now he's long ball counter. So that means our out wide, we could go out wide, it would be a little bit more boring, or we can go quick counter. So we'll start off and out wide, we'll feel it out. We know that he's got to play that deeper line no matter what. And then we can see how our quick counter does as well. So you see two deep line teams. Good overlap. Look at the back post. 1-0. Messi got a little lucky on the rebound there. We'll take it. Went for the volley. Right here, those clearances can be rough. Oh, I didn't even recognize that his Ronaldinho got it. That's very unlucky. Now we're patient defensively. You can see how wide he's got the mid block. Unlucky there. Switch the fields. What the? My Marcelo decided not to take a touch. It happens. Good. Feet. Oh, I beat him and then went back. I beat him and then went backwards. Son of a gun. I should have drove the byline here. Look what I did. I went back in because I anticipated a tackle that wasn't there. That's where I always say Renegade Kami's got that let his nuts hang thinking. He doesn't second guess. Sometimes that overthinking can get you. Ah, you seen what got him there. That's delay for sure got him there. Just patience. Wrong player. I'm supposed to go to my Dino. See where out wide can help you take the space. Draw the opponent where you want them. Oh, I thought he was going to read the Bellingham run. Good by Marcelo, absolute defensive monster. Watch Messi. Oh, I tried a skill move. Good run by Messi there. Good by Hullet. Send Ronaldinho. Oh, nice. Can't get those with those long ball counter guys. Or, sorry, the long reach tackle guys I meant. Ah, terrible ball. Good tackle there. Nice goal, Phil. Beautiful goal. Let's watch it. Right there, he beat me down the line. Beautiful ball. I should have slid tackled probably with... Who did I have there? I don't even know who I had there. Probably should have slid tackled because there's nowhere else to go there, and I stayed up. Beautiful goal, though. Ah, forcing it. That's where you got to be like slow down whenever there's delay and you see the screen. If you just slow it down, that's where out wide can help a ton. Oh yeah, this is getting... We'll probably just play one when you start seeing the screen glitch, and this is like PvP action. But that's what Phil's got to deal with every game. That's why I was trying to tell the league match people. It's like, bro, he had to deal with that every game. It's way worse for him. All right. Good. Good D. Look at the switch. Look at the switch. This is where out wide can help a ton. Now back into the middle. Boom. Good. Let's see Bellingham go. Good. All right, we'll take it. Good little half. Playing through some adversity, both of us. We'll take it. Unfortunate to give up the only shot we gave up, but we got 2 and scored 2 out of 2. So that's how it goes. So now we go into QC. So here's what you'll see second half from me. Boom. See the difference? Where the team switches up. So let's see how we do in that. Technically, on paper, I'm giving him the advantage. I would never go QC versus LBC. But on here, we will. Good. See, I played like a typical quick counter, but I thought I had it through there because I only had one defender to beat. Shame on me. So now, perfect counter position here. Look at the overlap. Oh, get there. Oh my God, that could have been sick, guys. Beautiful try from Messi. Remember, he's got that Messi's got edge crossing. I don't use it a lot, but I tried to quick cancel to do a quick check too. Oh. Nice ball. Yes, beautiful ball. Come on. Oh, I read it well, but I didn't stop in time. Good by Hullet. Good D. Oh. Oh, no. Good. Oh, I went for one of the stunning volleys. Good from Messi. There it is. Dude, Ronaldinho. Trying to get a stunning volley. That was a little too high, to be fair. Good overlap by Marcelo. Good drive. Oh, I wanted to do the byline pass. All right. So, in quick counter here. I mean, my team's pretty freaking set. We'll go a little more defensive. I'll get Davids in there for Bellingham. And then let's go Pirlo for Hullet. So orchestrator and a destroyer in there now. Then let's get Yamal in there for Messi. And then, just because of how we're playing, let's get Ibra. Let's give Ibra a go. All right. See what we got here. And then always what I do then is the next time I get a break, I'll go back and double check. Oh, of course, the block. Damn it. Come on, Dino. Take your space. Good. Woo! We got him. Ibra. Ibra gets it. We subbed him in for a reason, the little super sub. Now, here's what I'm going to play devil's advocate there. When I'm doing that shifty left stick, like left, right, even if he's got a millisecond of delay, which he does, it's so hard to keep up with this. And that's why I give Phil a ton of credit, because he loves the game enough to play through. Not only think of all the rats he's got to play, but right here, like, he's doing good to keep up, but then that little bit at the end, it's tough, man. You know? Duchesne, yes, I'm playing against chat. Phil OG's more than just that, though. He's an OGFC member, been here since day one. Hell of a fucking player, bro. And he's always battling some terrible connection based on where he lives, far away, from whatever it is. We've always noticed it. And he had it in the league, and he still rung off a couple wins again in an absolute demon OG league full of beasts. And started the league with like 2 wins. So I always got to point that out. That's 100% facts, what I'm telling you, on everything. You can tell when you can see it in the screen if you've seen him play a lot. That might be offsides. Nope. Oh, I thought he'd go the other way. Good ball. Good by Pirlo. Look at Ibra. He'll check back eventually. I wanted him to stop and get it to feet. All right. Let's see what we got here. Look at Messi. Is that Messi? No, Zambrotta. Messi? I subbed Messi out. All right, Marcelo now. Marcelo's an absolute... But you see where the attacking fullbacks can help out. When you have fullbacks tremendous on the ball. Beautiful. Boom. Beautiful. And that's where Pirlo can help you. And that's 70 finishing Pirlo here. So look, when I played this to Pirlo to Ibra, I tricked with the turn the other way. Then the quick turn back. And this is in quick counter. So you guys see the difference. I'm never kicking in and running it. I'm still playing to feet, playing possession oriented. You know what I mean? But that's the difference, because people say, oh, dude, I got a comment one time, guys. A player said, oh, I see you playing LBC, so everything, all of your content, I'm never watching again because I see you played LBC. Dumbest comment I've ever read. Clearly a person who doesn't know football whatsoever. Because you don't have to be a rat to play LBC. In fact, I do the same thing with LBC that I do with quick counter. The same exact way, you know? Like, yeah, I opened up play there, but who wouldn't right there? Like, on that ball, and actually lost that one. But you don't have to be a rat and play that way. The rats play like rats. Play styles are what rats use, but the rats are going to play like rats. Rats are turning overload into a ratty play style. Good read, Phil. I'm trying to block that off. Good read. Marcelo's so nasty on the ball, it's almost sickening. GG's, bro. GG's. So, out wide, into quick counter, you can see where it can totally torch overload. GG's, buddy. Where it can totally torch overload, even though my boy Phil wasn't playing overload there. But we'll go back through here. We'll go like this. That was about 15 minutes, right? But let's see here. Damn, 5 minutes in already. Okay. So I'll do 30. So I want to go back through several things here. All right. Last 30. Now I'll go out to the main menu first. So I want to compare this against overload real quick. Yanni, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, just make sure if you want to help us grow, just as long as you just like, subscribe, comment, all that. It goes such a long ways. But thank you. I appreciate your comment. It means the world. Cranky Man says using LBC is like owning a baseball bat. You either use the bat for hitting bombs or for bludgeoning someone in the head. Yeah. It's how you use all these play styles. That's what I'm saying. When I'm doing these play style videos, that's the main thing I hope everyone takes is there's a way to use all of these setups. So the biggest thing that I want to do from this. And shout out Phil, always playing through some tough situations, but never making excuses, always just showing up and playing. So we're going to break this down. Oh yeah, it was out wide and quick counter. Let me get a drink real quick. So the talk of the town is obviously overload. It's the brand new play style, and it is very dynamic, very powerful. It can even be abused by the Rats, no different than they abuse quick counter for the aggressive press or LBC for the parking the bus. With overload, it can be very overwhelming for opponents, right? When you have that overload defense, because it's so many players in a small space, and it forces players to make issues on the ball a lot of times. So what a Rat would do defensively and out wide, in overload, and where out wide could help, is they would try to just hold down press, hold down AI assist. They have so many players in a small area, right? And it can be overwhelming. Even if the overload Rat player, let's say, if they're playing like that, has no idea how to defend. Let's say there's some server delay, or let's just say with the way your players are positioned, they're getting lucky because there's so many players in a small space that you can't get anything going. They're winning the ball, right? Out wide helps you play that immediate pass out of the press so you can continue working the ball up the pitch and continue your attack. So it helps you get out of that initial danger. Now, of course, skilled players using overload can still press you, can still be very aggressive because that's what they're supposed to do. However, it's more calculated. They're still pressing, but with an angle in mind to cut off a passing lane while they're putting pressure on you, to cut off a dribbling lane while they're putting pressure on you, constantly switching defenders, not just holding press and AI press and looking to just run into you. There's a big difference, but that's where Rats are going, oh, overload's going to be great. Then if they win the ball high enough up the pitch, they just hoof it still because the players break forward for a counterattack, unlike possession, where you have to be in control of triggering your players. It's not like you win the ball in a certain spot, now your players run forward instead of look for possession. So out wide is a great counter tactic to overload in that respect. Now, defensively out wide, depending on how you set up your team defensively in the fluid formations, that's where out wide used to be a no-go against a formation like an overload in the attack, because they'd have too many numbers in certain areas in the middle of the pitch and you'd just be smoked. But now you can pull your players in, as you see here, whether it's out wide or quick counter. I'm pulling my players into those gaps that were typically vulnerable against a setup like out wide before fluid formations, and we're gravy train, baby. We're good to go. Now, quick counter is another great setup that can attack out wide opponents in a different way, and that is giving them a dose of their own medicine. Once they're pressing you and they win the ball, guess what? Now their full team's concentrated in one small area, one small channel, and now you send several players into an aggressive press of your own to win the ball. But guess what? Here's where you have the advantage. They have several. Their dynamic backline that's not always high, not always deep, that, you know, if an overload player is trying to win the ball high up the pitch, the defense will push up to a high line. If the opponent wins the ball and is working it up, the defensive line drops, similar to long ball counter, long ball, right? So it's a very free-flowing line that's going with the team. The team's dropping, the team's pushing up the pitch. The team's dropping together, the team's going left, going right. It's all a singular movement, right? And that can help you, but it can also hurt you. So in quick counter, when you send that press, the difference is you still have players across the entirety of the pitch. Overload, they have all their players converge into one area. So once you press them, they don't have an outlet across the pitch. If you're quick counter versus overload, you're both going to press aggressively, but when the quick counter team has the ball, if they're smart, they'll set up their team to have an outlet away in another channel where the overload team is now, once you play that ball, going to have to work their butts off to get across the pitch as you're quickly working it up, because in quick counter, you're working more vertical. So you can play that ball, since your full team's not all the way into one channel, diagonally, then you're fast attacking vertical and you have all your players making those darting runs forward. So in that respect, quick counter has the advantage over overload. So you better believe the free Frank Lampard overload manager with long ball as a secondary. You better believe Conte, even though he's a paid manager with out wide and quick counter, is the counter manager to Frank Lampard. They're supposed to oppose each other, right? Because if the overload player starts getting smoked by quick counter, he's supposed to go to long ball, right? If the out wide player is getting smoked by overload, he's supposed to go to quick counter. Then if you have long ball versus out wide, it's similar to how you saw with me and Phil, where it was the long ball versus long ball counter, right? So now, let's get into our next game. This breakdown of this game, so I can actually analyze some of the plays. So we won't watch the full game because you guys just watched it, but I want you guys to pay attention when you have two teams in deeper. So this would be a player that's, let's say, playing overload, but then they say, nope, I see he's an out wide. I'm not letting him beat me like that. I'm going to play long ball counter. So when you see a team with a deep line, you can't force the ball forward. You still have to be patient, right? And this was actually somewhat lucky because you'll see here, right? He does good initially, but then it's right here. So obviously that's tough to read. He doesn't know if my Messi's getting it. He doesn't know if his Ronaldinho's getting it. He doesn't want to receive it and have my Messi run through him. He knows, especially with some of the delay SEO. So this is a very, very tough go for. Because if he settles that, which hindsight you would say settle it, and I run through him, it's the same outcome. So honestly, this is just scratch that goal. Good finish by World Cup Messi, although he better finish that for being a 250-player freaking pack. So nothing, I don't even put that on Phil there. So 1-0. But the main thing I want you to pay attention to is we both, out wide's got the mid block. He's in long ball counter with the deeper line. Beautiful ball there. That's unfortunate. I feel like Seedorf could have got a touch. That happened to me a couple times too. I hate it. But overall, it's just patience. You look, it happened right back to me. But I guess it is a little ahead, but it just looks close enough. But fair enough. So, you see patience. You see patience. And that's the key, right? You see these big gaps, and it makes you want to start dashing with the ball through. It makes you want to start going. But you still got to use your width. You still got to pull your opponent out of his comfort zone. You see there with Messi. I beat the defender there, and I overthought. So I'll show you what I thought happened here. Right? And this happens a lot to a lot of us where we're overthinking. So beautiful ball. Messi gets the inside edge, which I see right here. I see I have the inside edge. But I immediately anticipated, right? I immediately anticipated what he would do once I got that inside edge, that he would slide in front. Because it happens so many times when you lock up in little old Messi. They scoop around, you fall. And so I immediately anticipate a slide. And then I'm going to turn and then bend it in. And instead, Big Phil's just still worrying about getting back, and I totally just screw up to the point where he wasn't even ready for this. Like, he sees me beat him, it's like, what the hell? But that's where the overthinking can get you, and the guys will know in Discord when I say, like, Renegade Kami, Tiago in the league, when I say guys that play free, that let their nuts hang, that just say, hey, let's go. Nick runs a foot market. It's the overthinking isn't there. Inception does the overthinking sometimes. Like, it's part of my OCD, and it can be very helpful, but it can hurt you too. Now, here, Phil makes a very poor decision. Obviously, the right passes to the left, and this is where that rushing comes in, but you got to think where he's coming from, right? He's used to the delay. He's used to perhaps winning the ball and getting screwed over where the opponent immediately steals it. But in these situations, we've all been here and we all know it, but this is where, like we said, in trainings where you're critical. You have to make sure this mistake doesn't happen. You win the ball. You have too many open players. You have to make sure you take care here, and at the worst, you clear it. At the worst, you clear it, which is still much better than this because that's essentially the second goal that I was all but given, right? And against good players, that's always going to crush you. Now, Phil does a freaking great job to keep fighting because that's what Phil does. He has 0 quit in him. And this goal he scores is absolutely beautiful. I want to fast forward to it. Here it is. We'll go from 25. So you see here, he punishes me. Look, missed tackle with Vieira. But right away, he has intent. Beautiful ball, beautiful ball, beautiful goal. Right? Now notice where my Vieira is. This is where he gets me right here. Sorry, after this, I went too far back. Right? Here he wins the ball from Messi, okay? Now he's got it with Maldini. Now watch where the trouble starts. When you're number 6, why I have him on defensive, and this is where some players would say, you got to keep him anchoring too, and this don't happen. But I like him helping to the wing, and he actually, if I would have made the decision right here to slide right here, I should have slid tackle right there. That's why I don't put anchoring on. But a good player takes advantage of your mistakes. I have my number 6 outside of the comfort zone in the center, which forces not only that, but my Van Dijk is already out of position too. Why? Because Van Dijk's covering for Zambrotta since Messi lost it, so it's a domino effect. So I should have noticed that and kept Vieira in the central area, and he should have actually been watching Ronaldinho, who, if Phil cuts it back here, like if I go to slide tackle and Phil cuts it back, he has Ronaldinho. So I'm in a very bad spot before even recognizing it. Then, to make matters worse, Vieira doesn't win the battle. And right here, right, Bellingham starts recouping way too late. Immediately, Phil recognizes that through ball. And what's crazy about it is my Hullet, if I switch to my Hullet, I have a shot at intercepting this. But Phil recognized it. I didn't. And I get punished. Rightfully so. If I'm a better defender, for 1, I'm sliding here. For 2, I'm not pulling Van Dijk out. But then for 3, right here, boom, switch to Hullet. And it's a little bit quicker, obviously, like I said. Very critical of myself, and you should be too of yourself when it's training. That's how you get better. So it's a split second, but if I switch to Hullet quicker, I have a chance at least to tackle it. So that's 2-1. Believe that's how we ended the half. And then the rest of the time, by the way, it's literally just 2 teams with deeper lines working the ball up. Phil right there, just a little side note to help you out. Marseille turn all day, bro, which is what I try to anticipate. Marseille turn, look. And again, hindsight's 2020, I know. But at least maybe, I'm sure you're going for special double touch, which could have worked there for sure. But look at this. Look, whenever the defender's in front of you, it's a special double touch left or right. Okay? Go, if they're coming a little from the left to the right, special double touch right. If they're coming from a little from the right to the left, special double touch to go against the grain. If they're coming right to left, you go back against the grain. It's harder for them to recover. But whenever a defender's coming from any side angle, even just a diagonal, time it right, Marseille turn. And I know Neymar, unless you give him Marseille, which I try to give it to all my attackers, but I don't think my Nene has it either. I have the Blitz Curler one. But even the slower version can work here with a shifty player like Neymar. He does it pretty slow. You'd be surprised, which is silly because it's not realistic. But a Marseille turn here, and you're off to the left. Right? So, and I try to anticipate it, but I don't know if I did a good enough job because I end up winning the ball. So just think about that in the future. And notice all the way through, I'm in out wide, and I keep using the width. I work it out wide, and then where do I go from out wide? Back into the center. Pull the opposition, pull the defenders away from that central area because, of course, you tacked on the center because the goal's in the center. But you need to pull the defenders away, out wide, which is where out wide's such a good setup. Then you work it right back into the center. And you keep doing that over and over, pulling them out, working it in. Pulling them out, working it in until you get those openings. I think I almost had something here too. I can't remember all the way. Oh no, of course it ends. Okay, so that's out wide. That's where it can be extremely helpful. Now, we've already went into quick counter, so I'm not going to go too much into this. But Let's just see how these last 2 goals came within quick counter. Did I score my 3rd yet here? I think I did. Let's see, though. Oh my gosh, we get it. All the substitutions, we get it. Shows the scoreboard. No, okay. I think it comes here, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure. Yep. This is Ibra. This is Ibra. Those finishes are magical. And where these big, strong strikers come in is it's how are you going to mark that, bro? You got to front him and stay fronted because acrobatic finishing on some monsters. I mean, Suarez, too, there probably would have finished, but Ibra, definitely his stock went up after the changes. Yeah, I've been there. Bro, get TMI sticks. I'm telling you, that's what I have. Magnetic sticks. No stick drift. They wear out eventually. There's new ones that never wear out, but you get like twice the use out of it. So yeah, so beautiful goal there by Ibra. Shimmy and shake, and Ronaldinho with his physicality is so good at that. But look at this finish. So glad they added those guys. It's so it gives you so many opportunities for some nasty goals. Beautiful ball. Ibra, no chance he's missing. And that's so realistic. If you've seen Ibra's new MasterCard commercial or whatever it is, or GoPro commercial, I think it was, it's so sick. And then you have the 4th goal. Here it is. I think Kami's up, guys. Kami's another OG member. Members get priority. It's part of the membership. It's not like $1 million a month. It's like if you guys want to support, get instant content for $3 a month or coaching along with instant for $6 a month. You can get that as well. So it's just a fair thing to do, appreciation thing. So hold on. Alright, so this Pirlo goal is pretty damn nice. So let's check it out. Working the ball up. Believe the whole team touch it. Center backs, remember working it out wide. And this isn't quick counter, guys. Remember, you know, quick counter is like, oh, they just kick and run. It's just play it forward. Look, still using the width. Pulled his defenders out, worked it in. David's Pirlo working in the triangles. Boom. 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 Zero chance that you could say, oh, quick counters, kick and run, quick counter, LBC. This is exactly how I play LBC. Not just going forward, using the width. So the goal starts here. Zambrotta, Van Dijk, Company. My whole back line touched the ball there. All right. Ronaldinho didn't touch it there. Davids, Pirlo, so Vieira didn't. Vieira touches it. My whole team has touched it except for like one player. Everybody but Ronaldinho and Yamal. My entire team touched that ball from Neuer up the pitch on that goal. My entire team touched that ball outside of Yamal and Ronaldinho. Think about that. In quick counter. In quick counter. So it's all about how you utilize it. It's not, oh, my goalkeeper had it, kick it straight up the pitch to my, Ibra score a goal. My whole team touches the ball in the build-up in quick counter against LBC, by the way. So that's that. But it's all about how you play. It's all about your what you bring to the play style and your setup. And notice, this is my go-to, like a little bit different for out wide because I don't want all my players. The reason why I switch it up for out wide is because if I have a certain setup, I don't want those players all touching the touch line, all touching the chalk. So I manipulate it in out wide. But honestly, right now I'm leaning towards Conti and out wide / quick counter over overload / long ball right now. But as you can see, overload can work very well too. All right, so now I got to do one thing. What was I about to do? All right, before Kami is ready, let's see if Kami's ready. Hey, do we have 8 players? All you guys wanting to play, would you guys be down to play a tournament right now? Or do you guys not have enough time? Winner qualifies for the OG. No, I'm not in it. Don't worry, I'm not in it. I'll be just spectating. But would you guys be down? Or should we just wait for tomorrow on that? You guys tell me. I don't know exactly how long it would take, but 8 players, it would go 8 to 4 to 2. I'd start all the games at the same time. We'd spectate little by little. We could just see how it goes. But I would definitely need 8 players. But the winner does qualify for the OG Cup. It would count. All right, so let me see something here. Videos. I think this is the one. Got to make sure this doesn't get lost in translation. Yeah, okay, good. Good, okay. All right. Got that there. What's everyone saying? Yeah, Cranky, it'd be sick. Mike Sama said down. Phil's down. Dushan. So we got 3. We got 3 players. If we get 8. Oh, wait a second. I know Kami was going to play against me. Kami, did you run away, bro? Did I scare you away? No, Kami's my boy, bro, and he's a beast. So what's going on in UFC? Have you guys seen? Here, I'm gonna put it on in the background. Can I get copywritten for the? Wait, it's on Paramount. It's on Paramount, guys. Can I get copywritten for having it in the background? You guys probably don't want to hear that, but I'll put it on mute. Any UFC fans out there, you guys know why I want to watch that. I'm going to put it on while we play, though. So, what I was going to tell you guys is, give me some kits to try on real quick while we're waiting for possibly about 5 more players, and we'll run it with this tournament. If not, I'll play one of you guys. If Kami doesn't come, I'll play the first one that asked to play me. Was it Duchesne or was it somebody else? AMG. Oh, you're down to play? Let's go, AMG. AMG is a member. AMG, you ready? Sorry, here, let me get this on the background, UFC, and then AMG, get ready to play, bro. Are you in here? I just saw that from you, AMG. My bad. But see, that's what happens in the Discord too, so you guys know, is like a lot of people will be commenting and I don't see it. If I do miss it, just know that it's not on purpose. Alright. Abdul Malik and Stoltzfus is fighting right now, so plenty of time.
Mansour has been in grappling in the past with other fighters.
Hell yeah, boys. I'll have that on in the background. I'll give you guys updates on the fights. See if AMG, perfect. Alright, I'll set up the game, AMG. Let me get my mini game going. God, what do you guys think about this mini game? It makes me kind of feel like a little kid a little bit. I'm going to do one little 10-player spin just for the culture, too. I think I've spun $30 worth or 20 to 30. Wait, what am I supposed to be doing here? Oh, crap. Oh, I still got it. I pressed it way too early, guys. I pressed it way too early. So what is it? If you get perfect, you get more spots? It's so goofy, bro. Watch they'll turn into a mode where it's like smart assist into that. That will be the next mode. You just time a button. Alright, let's do one little 10-player spin, and then we'll get in there with AMG. Can't wait to get rid of these. I'm going to have to get allergy shots or something. All right. So I spun 30, 40, 50, 90, 27. So 27. So that'd be 900 at $9. $27 worth. I'd rather shoot the pen. Yeah, I hear you, bro. It's just kind of goofy. It feels like a little childish. A little bit. But I guess the pen, I don't know. The game, it's Konami. Did I get Diego Costa? D-Lap. Damn, bro. Come on, somebody come out of the tunnel. Somebody come out of the tunnel. Somebody come out of the tunnel. Nobody's coming out of the tunnel, guys. Holy shit. They do not want me to have these Chelsea players. They know I'm a Man United fan. They know I'm a Man U fan. I'm not like going crazy to go after these guys, but this Hazard kind of reminds me of that Messi on the right. But I do love Ronaldinho over there on the left. I still got the Blitz Curler. I love Yamal, but that Messi card is so nasty, guys. Like, I can't get myself to start Yamal over that Messi GOAT. He's just so disgusting, bro, especially on the ball. And Messi's pass, that GOAT Messi's passing, like, it's something about it, dude. There's just something. Really? He beats out Ronaldinho? Because I got 3 more 10-player spins that I was going to use tomorrow. But, I mean, it's kind of crazy because, like, I do like having just all the weapons available. So when you look at how good Ronaldinho and Messi and Ronaldinho and Yamal are, plus you add that Blitz Curler, it makes it kind of crazy. Like, it's hard to justify Messi starting, but Messi's so nasty and his finishing so good that it's kind of like you can deal without it. But then to have the creative playmaker on the left, because to think about it, I'd have to use Hazard no playstyle as well. He's so sick, bro. Look at his build, dude. He's just ridiculously nasty. It's all around beast. And I know stat-wise, I think the... Let's check out Hazard real quick. Pull up to... Not Twitch. What am I doing? Pull up the Discord. I have the builds in the Discord, so we'll check that out right now. Let's see what we got. E-Tactics. Hazard and Hullett. Jude. I got hell whole players. Alright, so... Where am I? Oh, yeah, player reviews. Where are they at? Player reviews. What's this saying? Oh, he's showing this, yeah. Some of these do matter, by the way. If you guys haven't seen my video on this, make sure you check it out. Some of these do matter. The ones that have to do with AI run making do matter. So make sure you look at the AI. The ones you need to look at are, I'll tell you real quick. Long ball expert doesn't matter. Cut in from the wide areas. It's speeding bullet. Speeding bullet matters. You'll get a lot of vertical runs there. And then I think that's it. Just speeding bullet. Cut in from the right areas, looking for goals. Incisive run and speeding bullet. Although incisive run, no, a dribbler, so no, you will never be dribbling. The AI, the speeding bullet, and then I think there's one more, not early crosser, I think there's one more below, but definitely speeding bullet. You get more aggressive runs from them if you're ever wondering that. Alright, so that's a side note. Going to my builds for this Chelsea pack, I want to take a look at Hazard. Here's my review on them if you want to watch that ever. This Cahill's nasty, by the way. Don't sleep on him. And what that defensive highline master does. You would think it has to do with like, oh, high line, like he'll be great in like a quick counter possession, a high line. No, dumbest name. There's got to be some translation issue in Japanese, because all he does as a highline master is the same thing as a build-up. It's literally just does well to stay in the defensive shape. That's literally about it, right? Does well to stay in the defensive shape, as opposed to a destroyer who's going to go hunting, right? Costa, to me, he doesn't have a secondary playstyle. He's just, in my opinion, a worse version of like an Ibra. I take Ibra all day with willpower and phenomenal finishing. Still, without bullet header, has the ability to bury the ball, especially now with the acrobatic finishing. That's just me. I'm not saying he can't be sick, but I think, in my humble opinion, Ibra's better at the job as a poacher. And then, last but not least, we had the man himself, the key player. Here's my build for him. So this is along the lines of like my Neymar. My Neymar right now on the bench, prolific winger, by the way, same exact thing. But my Neymar is a roaming flank. So here, I'll show you real quick. Look, there's my Neymar, the Blitzkriller Neymar versus Hazard. So that's the other thing, bro. If I'm going for a player like this, I'm probably going with this Nene. Subbing in him for Ronaldinho. So why would I... So if I'm going for so like I have Ronaldinho or Neymar coming off the bench. And then I have Ronaldinho. And then, to add insult to injury, this player can also be a very attacking CMF because he's got decent defensive abilities that no one thinks about here. But they're decent enough, not in the 40s and 30s. Eze. So I got 3 players that have Blitzkriller. They can cut in from the left to the right. Then from the right to the left, as you guys seen, I have Messi and Yamal. Yamal coming off the bench for Messi with the Blitzkriller. And then Pele sort of can play left or right AMF. Right? So it's like, dude, I'd be spoiling... You know, I'd be spoiling the shit out of myself for no reason almost, put it that way. I mean, his finishing and offensive awareness doesn't hit 95s, the elite dribbling. The only thing he does have is, it doesn't show it on here, but he's got the frontline poacher, which defensively, basically he looks for interceptions. So, like, when you drop him back, let's say you move him to, like, from winger to AMF, I'd use him as an AMF, though. And then his passing is elite for... I mean, he's another Ronaldinho, but just probably better on the ball. Even the physical contact I like. And he's got a perfect weak foot as well. You know? So... The biggest reason I get him is to test out the double play styles. I'd like to get Gary Cahill for that reason, but I'm probably maxed out. That's the max I'll go. I'll probably save the rest of my coins for... Now, as I get bigger, I'll eventually get to the point where I'll get every player to test them for you guys. But for the sake of right now, as we're growing still, I got a ball on a... I know for a lot of people I'm spending a lot still, but... Not to the point where I'm going to keep going for these guys. Because I already can show you pretty much everything. And soon enough, we'll get players where we can test, you know, the Highline Masters and the front line. And you know, pretty soon we're going to get the players where we can test the Beast Drive and all that. If you haven't watched my videos on the defensive playstyles or the 7 new Showtime skills coming, make sure you check out those videos. Very important to know that stuff so you're prepared. By the way, is there any ideas who we're getting tomorrow night? Quick counter, any tips? Go back and watch. Yeah, bro, I just released a quick counter video. Go watch the video I released with Conti quick counter. He's got 90 proficiency just like Martinez. Now, I use it as my sub tactic, but that don't mean shit. Use it as your main tactic. It's the quick counter video I just released. Check out that setup, see if it fits for you, buddy. And guys who you don't know I'm talking about, my boy JD5's over in Twitch. So if you ever hear me talking to someone like, dude, who's he? That's not in the chat. It's from another platform. So don't think I'm crazy. Dumfries, bro, is one of my favorite. I'm so glad Dumfries is finally getting his flowers. Anderson and Rogers. Let's go see CTE football real quick, guys. Let's check out what our boy at CTE, the only league guy I trust. Let's go see what he's saying. Cranky, who do you go to for the leaks? Cranky's the OG, bro, who told me, who filled me in about that I could load up and play the new version of eFootball 27 in the exhibition thing. Like, didn't even think about that. Which was so sick, bro. That was so exciting. It was awesome to see because we were all disappointed from the Connect. All right, let's check CTE. Oh my God, I can't wait, boys. I have not played with Georgie. So see what I'm saying, bro? They're always going to come. So you got to see, like, this is who I'm waiting for, right? Like, okay, can he beat out the GOAT Messi? Is he really going to be 110 rated? Because it says, I created this mini card design. It's a concept. But I wouldn't doubt it. 110 rated, I could see it. But you know you got to go Georgie. He's simply the best. I mean, I could shag your missus, drink a couple of pints, and still go out and score 3 goals like it's nothing. I'm paraphrasing, but you gotta love Georgie. Georgie will shag your missus and still score a hat trick after a night of drinking. Momentum, Magnetic, and Blitz. You talking about this, Georgie? That will be an insane card, guys. Here's the free Rui Costa. Guys, they definitely improved the free cards. I got the Milan Rui Costa. I got the Milan Rui. Here's these new skills. I just went through these in depth, guys, so make sure you check out that video. I'd obviously appreciate the support, but also, yeah, they can help you out because you need to know when to prepare. So that new edge booster, I didn't even pay attention to that, but it's like a +6. Here it is. I'll show you it on Costa. Here's the new edge booster they're talking about. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, +6 increase to 1. So if you guys don't know what edge booster is, check this out on Costa. You don't add the booster to them. They have it, but it's only one area. So he gets a +6 to 1 category. For him, it's physical contact. So if you look, he'd be at 79, but he's at 85. So it's pretty nasty, but it's only one area. So that's a new thing they're doing, the edge boosters. Pretty cool. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Van der Sar's coming. Hold on, let me. Van der Sar is coming. I'm not going between Buffon and Neuer. I got the best player keepers in the game. I do need a Premier League keeper. Will I spend for him? Only if it's a sick. Like if it's him and a Georgie Best pack, I hope I get him because, you know, it's almost like beating the game type of feeling. Like, all right, I got a goalkeeper in every major league. I got Casillas. I got, he's not great, don't get me wrong, but I use him in events for Spanish League. I got Kahn for Bundesliga. Well, I got Neuer too. Neuer's the best keeper in the game, in my humble opinion. Buffon's the second best. Van der Sar's third. But Van der Sar could easily be second or first. I just haven't used him. And I'm a Man U fan saying this, but it's hard to think about anybody beating Neuer simply because he's so fast and good with the ball at his feet with great passing. And Van der Sar's just not quite that. You see what I'm saying? But as far as shot stopping and stuff, it's hard to think Big Bird can get beat in that area. All right, here we go. Official showtime Monday. Oh, by the way, I cannot wait for a Kocha. It's going to be incredible on the ball. And then I hear we're getting Kanu, boys. A big badass Kanu, because you know FC ruined Kanu. They did pretty good with the Kocha, but Kanu is coming too, apparently. All right, there's Elliot Anderson, Dumfries, and Rogers. So, here we go. Let's do a little breakdown for tomorrow, and I'll tell you if I'm going to spin or not. Get this out of the way. Uniform says, just woke up and thought the tournament was starting. Oh, you're good, Uniform. I'm trying to get 8 people. I got like 3 that said they would play. If we get 8, we'll still run it, bro. It's Saturday night. It's a weekend, bro, for the boys. Let me see what our boy, let me see this. And then I'll show it to everyone after I'm done breaking this down. Black ZMD. All right, I'll check it out, brother. I'll check that out, Blacks. All right, so let's do this breakdown real quick. New pack, new cards with new Showtime skills, with new defensive playstyles. Who knows? But let's find out. First, we're starting with Elliot Anderson. Shout out again to CTE Football, always providing the leaks. The only leak account that I trust, always on point. So here is Elliot Anderson, an orchestrator. Let's see if somewhere in here we have whether he has offensive and defensive play styles. Not seeing it, but we are seeing a very good build. You can obviously lower the dribbling stats there, lower the passing a bit. That could be a bit overkill when you look at his other areas. So for me, just right off the bat, this is a hard pass. I don't care what the Showtime skills are. I don't care. He could have one of the new Showtime skills. I don't care what his defensive play style. Not an orchestrator that I want. I'm looking at a guy like a Pirlo, even the Rodri World Cup card, even without having any of the new stuff, the new bells and whistles. There's no way, no matter how you slice this build, that Elliot Anderson's beating them out. So right off the bat, first player of the new pack, a hard pass for me. I strongly consider, I would, if I were you, unless you're a huge Elliot Anderson fan, that you wait, because there's no way that there's not going to be better orchestrators. So bide your time, and you'll get a beast orchestrator, even if you need one badly. And then, of course, I'm a huge fan of both Dumfries and Rogers, especially Dumfries. I've been waiting for him to get his day in the sun. He's always been a highly underrated offensive back, and now he's finally, moving up to the spotlight, rightfully so. Absolute beast of a attacking-minded back. Now, I personally have Zambrotta and Marcelo. He's an offensive wingback on the right, so for me, he'd have to beat out Zambrotta, or I push Zambrotta to the left, take out Marcelo, and have 2 overlapping outside offensive backs. Instead of right now, I have 1 fullback finisher in Marcelo, 1 offensive fullback Zambrotta. I strongly suggest you go with that at the most, or if you have trouble defensively, go 1 defensive fullback and 1 offensive fullback. So don't just go for Dumfries for no reason. If you already got a good setup, if you have someone like a Zambrotta, if you have, a Cafu, somebody, I probably wouldn't for this card spin. But as you can see, insane build, great athleticism, physical contact through the roof. For a defensive player, you see the passing. Dribbling on Dumfries is always a bit lower, but he's one of those just powerful players that you send him down the line in a straight line, and good luck getting him off the ball. Then, of course, he's going to have excellent crossing. We're not seeing any Showtime skills or anything like that here, but let's just pretend he has edge crossing. Let's just assume he has some, type of passing, phenomenal, like whatever it could be, phenomenal pass, visionary pass, whatever you could try to imagine that he might have. To me, this is a pass as well, right? Obviously, they're probably going to try to get you to focus on the new double play styles, and you just have to decide, right? You can check out my video on all the defensive play styles. There are some really good ones, some really cool ones. But even if he has, let's say, the best one, to me, once again, you got to look at what's coming in the future. Unless money's not an object and you just want to try them out to see what the double play styles is like, this would be another pass for me. And I love Dumfries. The heading's a little bit lower than I'd anticipate. Just for a big physical player that could potentially get in the box late. But if you're in desperate need, I mean, he's going to be on the pitch all day and can be a great attacking option for a wingback. And then, of course, last but not least, Morgan Rogers. Looks to be the cream of the crop here. Whole player. So he's going to give you some of those same type of runs as a Hullett and a Bellingham, who are the key pieces to my team. I love the midfield whole players for sure. The only other one I personally have right now is the Free Schneider from that last whichever event or whatever promo, whatever you want to call it, that was. And it's a very good Free Schneider card compared to the fact that Konami shouldn't water free cards down so much. They should give free-to-play players a chance to actually get some beast cards. But for being watered down, it's a very good Schneider. This Rogers looks sick. That's just the truth. And this is without knowing all the details here. We don't know what kind of offensive and defensive play styles. Doesn't look like his Showtime skills are there. I believe in the chat somewhere. Let me read it real quick. Dumfries has edge crossing and shadow hunt. That could be nasty. That's very similar to Zambrotta. Okay. So the ability to get up the wing and then recover is brilliant. That's enough to make you think like, hey, 2 shadow hunt wingbacks going up and down the wings. Is that enough to get Marcelo out of there? Put Zambrotta on the left and Dumfries on the right? Is Dumfries with shadow hunt enough for you to switch out your offensive fullback? Perhaps. Then you have Rogers, who has blitz curler, momentum dribbling, and then acceleration burst. And then, of course, Elliot has... See if we can find it in here in the chat. I think somebody put it above. We'll try to find it. But the blitz curler, momentum dribbling, and acceleration burst on this card is pretty nasty, guys. I definitely lower the dribbling a bit to get that offensive awareness to 90. Maybe lower speed and acceleration to 90 to get it there. All right, sorry. That's associated with offensive awareness. So get the offensive awareness to 90. Lower the dribbling a bit. Try to get the physical contact if I can to 85. If not the end of the world. I definitely lower the passing for a whole player. I'm lowering the passing as much as I can. Down to the point where lofted pass hits 80 if possible. I want to get that finishing to 90 for a whole player. If I can. And then momentum dribbling, acceleration burst, and blitz curler. This is the cream of the crop if you're going for this pass. I don't know any of the defensive play styles for these guys. And it doesn't matter. We can see them on paper and see how good they're going to be, but we're going to have to see them on the pitch first anyway, so you can't spin for something you don't know about, right? You can't assume, oh, this will be amazing, I'll get this. But this could be well worth spinning for some players. A game changer for some players. That's what we'll have to see. And then we have magnetic feet and phenomenal passing for, is that Elliot Anderson, I believe. So those are your choices there. My verdict then on this would be, depending on how bad you want a whole player AMF, and trust me, those deep runs, guys, are very hard to mark. Then you have a player like Rogers that can shoot the ball from distance, but then he also has incredible dribbling to beat defenders, and then of course making those deep runs with excellent finishing. So if you want a whole player bad enough, and then you just have to decide, is it worth it to potentially get only him, or could you possibly use Dumfries and Anderson? Because Dumfries with Shadow Hunt definitely changes some things depending on who you have as your attacking fullback, or if you're looking for one. Because if you need Dumfries and Rodgers, then, I mean, come on, 2 out of 3, to me, that's worth spinning for. So, that's where I'm at. You guys can decide from there. And we'll move on. Very interesting pack, though. Very interesting pack. Starting a little slower, then they'll work into it, obviously. Thanks, Cranky, for all the information. Cranky said you have to consider Form 2. Shame these Showtimes can't have perma B. Yeah. I hear you. Alright, let's check out. My boy Blacks wanted to show us something here. Let's check this out. Congrats to my boy Javier, free-to-play Division 1. Top 5,000 player, top 5,500 player. Good job. There's his squad. That's mobile, right? Looks like mobile. Good job, Javier. All right, let's see what Blacks was showing me. What's that? Just a blitz curler? Let's see. Oh, yeah. I do that a lot. So if you notice, so check it out, Blacks. So he did a chop into a blitz curler, and he's absolutely right. So if you check it out, additional maintenance. Okay. My team. If you check it out, chop turn on Ronaldinho. Chop turn on Yamal. I do it on purpose on my chop turns on my. Let me see if I added it to Eze or not. I think I did. Yep, chop turn on Eze. On all my blitz curlers from the wing, I add it because if you chop turn shoot, it's pretty much automatic. I had it on my Messi blitz curler too, but this Messi obviously doesn't have it. But he's just brilliant in every other area. So yeah, chop turn into a blitz curler is on every day, or chop turn it into a curling shot. It works so good. Yeah, so that's a good way. So that would be a good little practice. Let me go in the training ground with Messi. That could be a way to get around it with Messi. Is add chop turn to him. Did I already do it? I added Marseille turn, but I could switch that out if I have to for the chop turn. Although I love Marseille turn on my. But yeah, if that's a way to get kind of like a knock on, because the knock on curlers are like that too. Let's check it out. Yeah, that's one I've been doing for a while. Great find, though. That's a great tool. I always start, well, I go game by game, so it's not one or the other. Every manager I use both tactics. I never pick a manager for one. So it starts with out wide, but depending on my opponent, I'll go either or. But I just like out wide, it's a little more forgiving while you're feeling your opponent out. A little more forgiving. But if my opponents, for instance, so if you think about out wide real quick, there's no nemesis that can absolutely crush it. But then again, fluid formations kind of made that with all playstyles. But those high line setups like possession and quick counter, you know, you could have some goofy thing happen while you're just getting to the flow of the game. Next thing you know, your opponent gets a breakaway, right? With a mid block and out wide, the ability to control, so much easier to control the ball, control the game. I like taking over, dictating the tempo myself, laying it out there right from the start. And then, if needed, I'll switch to quick counter. Typically speaking, it's a 50-50 out wider, quick counter versus overload. If I'm playing quick counter itself, probably going out wide. If I'm playing possession, I'm going quick counter. If I'm playing long ball or long ball counter, I'm typically going out wide because quick counter is just It's too easy for them to sit back, absorb the pressure, and get one chance and be in the game. Now, I know I use it against Phil as like just a test. And of course, you can make any system work against any playstyle, but on paper, that's how I'd break it down. So it's not about, oh, why are you using out wide, not quick counter? It's just, it really doesn't matter which one's a tactic or sub-tactic, because I'll use them both accordingly to how each game's going or how each opponent's going to play. Absolutely, Josh. You can see it in just a sec. I want to test this chop turn with Messi. This chop turn into a curler. Because remember, this Messi doesn't have blitz curler. I added on all my blitz curler players. It's pretty automatic. Pretty automatic. So I'll show you the difference between that and someone with the blitz curler. Ronaldinho. I didn't mean to go that far into the box. Oh, and he still scored it even though I did it off balance. But they purposely make the keepers weak. I'm fairly new to the game, so I'm trying to get better. Yeah, of course. I'll show you. Welcome to eFootball, by the way, bro. You came to the right place. We're here to help you out. I got to get a better angle than that. I was off on that angle. I got to go from wider because he's kind of doing it from behind. A little too far out. Oh, yeah. Oh, he missed it out wide. Got to be face on. It still works pretty damn good, but how I do it, like on this, I'll show you, is I'm coming at this angle here. Boom. Boom. Just like that. That's how I do it. With, like I'm parallel to the angle I want to go. So I'll show it on Messi's side. Boom. Like this. Boom. Perfect. Oh, it's nasty. But that's where Messi picks out. Let's try Hull it now on his right side. Oh, yeah, he ain't missing that ever. It does give you a great chance. And then I love these new ways to score, too. I love this. Give and go. Boom! I mean, God, those are so sick. Yeah, so when you're facing straight on into the side, it's nasty. Here, let's try with company then. Let's try with company. He's right-footed, so let's go over here. Let's try with company. Oh, yeah. And then if you guys don't know about the knock-on curlers, the knock-ons do the same thing, dude. So my Messi doesn't have it, so watch this. He didn't knock it on. It's a quick L1, push forward right. See how he rips it? Boom. There's a way you can stop too if you just let go of everything. Or no, wait. It's press L2. So it's boom. Boom. See how he rips it? It's a goal every time. But for some reason I can't always get it to register. So you got to press L2. So if I'm dribbling fast and then I let go of everything but L2, then boom. See? So watch. It's like this. Boom. Touch. Boom. but I got a point. I saw Chalk do it. Boom. See how he rips it? So if you have an opponent that's giving you a ton of space, right? So watch. So I play Messi. I'm sprinting. Opponent's next to me, but he's giving me space. Just L2, touch, boom. And it's in every time. You guys see that? Yeah, so all you do is let go of everything but R2. So picture an opponent. So let's try it with Bellingham. So you're sprinting, just keep holding R2. Boom, knock on. And then they just get that extra power to it. So you let go of everything except for sprint, and they'll stop dead in their tracks. Then it's R1 and push the right stick forward. So boom. Hold L2, push right stick in forward, boom. But you got to point with that left stick. If you don't, it will get stuck under your foot. Right? So you got to kind of manipulate it a bit. So watch, I'm sprinting, Vieira, just L2, boom. Boom. I didn't do it there. See, I did a skill move. So how it's stuck under your foot is what you got to avoid. So nothing but L2, or R2, sorry. Then once it's in front of you, R1, push. Then you push the left stick towards the same corner as the right stick. If you don't, it won't point your shot. It will go straight at the goalie. So sprint, nothing but R2, boom. Once it's in front of you, R1, push the right and left stick in the same spot, and then shoot. Notice how it took a second touch. See what I'm saying? Appreciate it, bro. So boom, boom, let go, boom, boom. You need, yes, if you knock it on before shooting, you greatly improve your chance of scoring. So watch the difference. So if I just sprint with Vieira, and then I go like this, look how soft that is. Now watch the difference. All you do to super cancel is you just press shoot, then R1, R2 at the same time. That's it. Now I let go of everything but sprint. Wait till it's in front of me. R1, right stick, left stick, same time. Boom, shoot. See that power you get when he just pushed it ahead? See that difference? Let go of everything but sprint. And then you got to wait a second, okay? So watch. I let go of everything. Wait a second for the ball to get ahead. Then boom, boom. Ah, see, it took a touch. I got to see if there's a way that I can speed it up. Let's see. There's a way to do it where you speed it up. Let me test that. Let me check that. This is when I'm sprinting and I let go of everything. See how he did it? Okay, so that wasn't letting go. So I think you can press R2, then sort of wait a second. Let's see. But R2 dead stops you. So wait. So boom. Let go of everything but sprint. See, even that got around the keeper there. But if you don't just do a dead stop by letting go of everything but sprint, then boom. But if you're sprinting and you let go of every button, boom. You see, I didn't point there though. So that's almost better. Instead of, if you want a hard stop, you can. And then you got to be able to, so here's the hard stop version. Hard stop, let go of everything but sprint. Push, boom. But I didn't aim. Notice I didn't aim. So now here's the version where I just let go of everything, including sprint. So it's not a complete stop. Then I get to where I can boom, boom. It takes a minute, but if your opponent gives you space, because remember, they don't know what you're doing totally. So it would be the equivalent of this. I'm having space. I've been whooping my opponent. I'm dribbling. I'm doing fake shots. Super cancels. Let go of everything. Boom. Boom. See the difference? I kind of hit it in there. So I hit it. So you just keep your finger off sprint. You know what I mean? You got to kind of hide it. It's a little bit touch. Oh yeah, the sharp touch with the L2 and R2. This is something I read in the notes. So you know how you get it and you'll do an acceleration burst where you boom, you double press sprint and it pushes the ball. See that? Now watch what I do when I do finesse dribbling with sprint. Look at how I can do it with a speed boost. Look at Messi. Good luck stealing the ball. So look, here's finesse dribbling, right? Let me hide this in the corner, by the way. Here's finesse dribbling. See that? Now here's finesse dribbling plus sprint. Look how close that control is with his speed boost. Players don't realize it now. Look at how ridiculous that is. You used to not be able to do that. You see how quick that was? Yeah, that's how I typically do it. But you see how quick that was with the L2R2? Now you can do it when you receive it. Now watch this. Here's a typical receive on a acceleration burst. Boom, the ball goes forward. Boom, ball goes forward. Now watch. Here's an L2R2 receive. Boom. It's just quickly, watch. Boom. And you're quickly sprinting. You've never seen that before? Look how quick Zambrota too. Look at his quickness. Look at this. Look at it. It's on a dime. Look, it's like FC left stick, guys. I literally came across it. That's why you got to read those notes. See it? Look, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. See those little flicks? That's L2, R2 when you receive the ball. And then you can keep dribbling with L2, R2 held down. Look at this. Then if you want the acceleration burst, boom. You let go of L2. Watch. Boom. And then you double tap sprint. So here we go, and I'll explode out of it. Ready? Boom. Quick turn. Boom. Again, L2, R2. Change in direction quick. Explode. Boom. Pretty sick. Finesse trap by air. Let's try it. Mackenzie Dern's about to fight. She's gorgeous, by the way. Man, somebody give Mackenzie Dern my number. Am I a big enough content creator you think Mackenzie Dern will shout at me? So that's with it held. Let's see if it works. This is with it not. So this is L2, R2 held. This is L2, R2 held. And this is with it not. So if it's not, they let it go to their feet. Let's see if I hold sprint, if it's the same. This is not held. They let it go to your feet. Now L2, R2 held, watch. They run it through. It's like they run with it. So I'll do it here. L2, R2 held. Alright, so this is L2, R2 not held. See how they wait and they let it drop? But then with L2, R2 held, L2, R2 held, they like push it forward. They don't wait for it. They don't wait for it to come to their feet. They're more L2, R2 held. They watch. L2, R2 held. Boom. See how he's actively pushing forward? Now watch. L2, R2 held. Look, boom. Now here's L2, R2 not held. This is just me pushing the left stick forward, okay? See how he waits and lets it hit his feet? There's no explosion. Watch. L2, R2 held. Boom. Right off the bat, he's going. All right, ready? This is L2, R2 not held. Just left stick forward. I'm pushing left stick forward. See how much slower that is? So when you receive it, hold L2, R2. Boom. And it will set you up perfectly. If you don't hold L2, R2, I'm going to do that same thing again. Ready? Here's that same thing again without holding L2, R2. I'm just holding the left stick forward. See how it's like, it's just a little bit slower. There's not a ton, boom, but see how he explodes forward with it? Look at those changes of direction, by the way. If you work this in with acceleration burst, your money, boys. Oh my God, Marcelo right-footed finish is not it. But pretty nasty, boys. There's just so much. But that's what I do at the beginning. That's why I never rush in. And then, as I go, I'll play PvP. You see what I mean? What? What? It's Saturday. Is this the additional shit? I didn't even read it. Oh, they just broke my heart. I was going to get in. I usually wait literally a week and then I play. Then I start, but I give the streams some games versus PvP, but it's just a good process for me. It's just like I love, especially with the new game, exploring and then feeling fully prepared. So I make my own preseason, then I play PvP League and measure my knowledge and abilities to everyone else's, and it always helps out, and it gives me this sense of organization. Like, I like having processes. If you guys didn't notice, like oh well, I know I could easily bend this rule and bend this, but it's like, no, you got to go into this tab to do this, and it's like an organization thing. So I go in at the start of the season, I'm learning, I'm exploring, I'm talking to you guys, I'm testing, I'm putting out content to help you as I'm learning stuff. Then a week or so in, when I feel fully prepared, I get my tactics ready for the phase. Boom. Now we hammer PvP. We release content as we go, showcasing what we got, continue teaching. Then we do kind of a review on the season. We keep playing, whether it's AI events, whether it's community, whatever, but we're refining, we're sharpening up, and now we're improving. You see how that goes? And it's really nice to be able to do that, and you always feel prepared. When you're facing the defender, how do you push the ball forward and quickly go around the defender and chase the ball? Facing the defender, you want to push the ball around on the defender. That would be double tapping sprint. That would be an acceleration burst, which is a Showtime skill, but you can still do it without acceleration burst as a Showtime skill. Your players just won't move as sharp. Players with acceleration burst quickly push the ball forward and go quickly. No, players without it, it's almost like there's a little pause before they'll push the ball forward, then it's almost a little pause before they go after it. So I only recommend you typically, unless you have a defender that's just dead slow or just on the wrong foot, like, you know, has his front foot kind of awkward angle, and then you know you could get by him and go. But other than that, I'd only suggest doing it against or with players with acceleration burst. Now, holding L2, R2 is a different story. You can quickly fake left, go right, fake right, go left, and it works out great. They're fixing the position training issue. Gotcha. Shouldn't be too long. But, guys, it's been phenomenal. We got a good 3 hours in. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. Tomorrow, let's get 8 guys, 16, 24, however many. Let's play some tournaments. Right, I'll give the code out tomorrow. Boom, 8 guys get in. We play. I'll spectate through each of them. Then we'll go to the next one. And let's at least get one in tomorrow. We'll continue going, continue learning, continue sharpening up. And thank you guys so much. Pay attention to the content coming out. I always try to help you guys out. 1 to 2 videos a day. It's been 2 because of the new season, trying to catch you up to date. I try to release everything. I don't look at how many views this is going to get or that. If you guys would, I'd appreciate if you could support everything. If you guys can't, so be it. I know there will be a lot of videos out there that you do love. Just please make sure you like. If you could add a comment to it, would help, especially like under these streams too. If you could leave a like, a comment, even if it's just an emoji, it goes a long way. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it, Blacks. Appreciate it. Everybody that's you know, Cranky Pants came through big. Josh Jager, we look forward to working with you and helping you out in the Discord. Trick Luda, I saw you just asked about maintenance. Yeah, it sucks. I just found out too, buddy. I'm in the same boat as you. Uniform Stone stops in. Come back in tomorrow, buddy. You didn't miss any tournaments, so that's good news for you. Scripted, Duchesne, all you guys. Become part of the community, and absolutely you can get games in. You can pick our brains. The more the merrier. We're not an exclusive bunch. We're an inclusive bunch. Ibrima, thank you very much for coming in. Yanni, I mean, there's so many guys. AMG, I'll answer your other question in the Discord, of course. So, Phil, once again, thanks for the game. Good stuff, brother. All you guys, if I didn't mention you, I still love you. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one.